What is up, everybody? Welcome back, finally back, to the Heroes Hearth Warcraft 3 Fight Night. My name is Kendric, and I'm being joined by the wonderful...
Grubby!
Hey!
Thanks, Kendric, for the introduction once again, Kendric. It's been a while. We had the problem with the Fight Night last week, where due to some Battle.net issues, we couldn't play our newly anticipated first best of 7 in the Fight Night.
That's right. Today, we decided to ramp things up a little bit. We decided that one measly best of 5 wasn't good enough to keep the masses entertained, you know, in these isolated times where people have to spend so much time at home. So a little bit of a nugget that we tossed to you guys so you have more Warcraft 3 late night entertainment. And what a series to kick this new format off with some of the finest that Europe has to offer, with Neutron representing the Night Elves, fighting his clanmate today, who's none other than SyDe, the French powerhouse, and representing the Undead. So, an Undead versus Night Elf, Grubby, I think this is one of the most fun matches to watch, because even both players said that it's pretty much 50-50.
Yeah, pretty much 50-50. Of course, they are on good terms with one another as well.
Yep.
You did the joint interview a little under 20 minutes. A lovely discussion and story, actually, by both of them, especially Neutron, Neytpoh. But they are actually teammates as well.
Yep.
And another cool thing that came out of that interview is, of course, you weren't initially too keen on inviting SyDe to the Fight Night because he's too good. He was winning too much, and we were worried we would never have another winner again. But Neytpoh has been giving everyone a run for their money, so this is going to be one of the highest level matches yet, and whoever takes this could well stay on for a while.
Absolutely, and it's really fun. You know, we gave a little bit of a look into what happens behind the scenes, Grubby, and you know, we always have this discussion about who could be the next challenger. And like you said, and like the player said in the interview, SyDe was always considered to be too strong in the beginning. You know, when, of course, no disrespect to any of the players that were competing earlier, but when we had players like Effect, you know, or Hunter, where we're always like, are they really on the same level yet? We don't want to make things too one-sided too quickly yet, but I think over the course of all the months right now that Fight Night has existed, it's really been growing in terms of skill level as well, naturally, because the next challenger, the next champions always sets the bar higher. And today we have reached pretty much A tier of the European scene, I would say, with only a few players really belonging in this S tier, like Happy or Foggy. But everyone else, I would say, is definitely able to beat each other on a good day.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's exactly right. We have like the European top contenders of international tournaments. We didn't invite those yet, but we've pretty much got the next best thing. And a quick question here, Kendric, before we go on and kind of break this match down for our audience. Are you Rolo Batman, or are you not in the game yet?
I'm not in the game yet.
Okay, the game name is in the Discord.
Yeah, I just saw it. I was just setting up some things, but I'm on my way right now.
All right, cool. Good. So this guy finagled his way into the lobby and has until now not been kicked yet. Sorry, Batman, but this is a closed affair. You're welcome to watch on twitch.tv/HeroesHearth. And well, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an Undead versus Night Elf game, a best of 7. That means that the first to 4 map wins will stand triumphant, be the victor, and get the $200 first prize, and also go to the next Fight Night where they can repeat the same result.
Yeah, now I just understood what you meant with Rolo Batman. I was like, Rolo? I'm already done with my Vikings on Amazon Prime, so, but now I got it. It was the unlucky soul, we should say, that now doesn't get to watch it. But yeah, Grubby, like you said, we have the bounty system still in action, of course. So if you guys feel like sharing a couple of extra cents or dollars to support your favorite players, and most importantly to support this format as well, now is definitely the time. It will be active and remain active for the entirety of today's stream, guys. But here we are on the first game, Echo Isles, between Neutron on the left-hand side, representing the Night Elves in purple, and his opponent SyDe for the Undeads. And now, Grubby, I'm not sure if you saw it in the group that we had going on before, but Neutron said he doesn't really feel it today. He's not 100%. He lost a lot of games, so to put it in his terms, he plays like shit today.
And SyDe said he's not feeling too good either. He's not in good shape. So possibly both of them are just kind of doing a little bit of Sun Tzu's Art of War. When you're strong, appear weak, and vice versa. So pay that no heed, young hobbit, I would say.
Definitely true. I think these guys are just toying with us and each other. And of course, they know each other so well. In the interview, they also mentioned that they're practicing a lot together. They spend some time, even off game, when it comes to hanging out, discussing strategies, or doing some non-Warcraft 3 activities. So they know each other, they respect each other, they like each other, so now it's all about the mind games. And of course, SyDe, we have to mention this, we can't go into a Warcraft 3 game without highlighting the Lord of the Dreadlords. Is he going to show his speciality, his secret strategy, which is not so secret anymore? No, not today. He falls back onto the Death Knight, Grubby, but it's a rather unorthodox build nonetheless.
Yeah, it really is, because actually we see that he has gone for that Crypt Altar on 4 Acolytes, and double Ziggurat now as well. I think this could be a Death Knight Ghoul expansion from the looks of the build. He might just be faking it. Take all his ghouls, clear the natural, and have it remain as an everlasting threat. Maybe I'll expand, but this might be one of those where he's forcing the Night Elf to abort everything they're doing after the first creep camp and deal with the impending expansion problem. That's what this looks like. Let's see what it's actually going to be, Kendric.
Yeah, Neutron already multitasking on multiple ends here right now. Goes for the Demon Hunter himself, by the way. The standard choice against Undeads these days for the Night Elves. He goes for a relatively strong early creeping route here with the Ancient of War, of course, with a couple of archers and some wisps to repair the building, while also scouting any potential undead movement on the right-hand side of the map. So I think he knows exactly now what his opponent is up to. Sees the Death Knight if he was paying attention with the ghouls moving over. So really nice, and he gets the Acolyte cherry on the pie, and also gets the Shadow Priest. The Acolyte wasn't able to steal that away.
Yeah, I think there's a chance he may not have seen the Death Knight unless he's really good with his reaction, because Neytpoh was putting all his efforts into not having the Acolyte steal anything, not having the Ancient of War accidentally last hit one of the creeps, thereby denying experience. And I think that took all of his attention span. And now Neytpoh, as we can see, he continues to creep. He's using the Wisp to spot ghouls, and he did see that red ghoul just going back to the main base. So now he definitely knows. And yet we see that Neytpoh keeps creeping. That means he's going to gun for it, maybe at level 2.5 Demon Hunter, maybe even level 3, and probably a very quick counter expansion.
Yeah, that's very true. So the expansion game, of course, ties in very nicely with your most recent video on the Heroes Hearth Warcraft 3 YouTube channel, which you guys can check out, and you're very much welcome to do so. Just type !YouTube in the chat, and you're going to be forwarded to it. Grubby did a really in-depth style tutorial on expanding, giving a little bit of strategy guide. So I watched it several times, definitely loved it. So feel free to do the same.
Same. I had to check for errors. There were none. It was perfect.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway, there are still some expansion styles that were not covered by that guide. Thanks for the shout out, by the way. One of them is, of course, this is where SyDe expands, and it becomes unattractive for Neytpoh to go across the map to cancel the expo, because it would take too much time. So instead he throws up a counter expansion, thereby going for the equalization. And what's really working in Neytpoh's favor is that really high level Demon Hunter. Gonna hit that Death Knight with the big level 2 mana burns, minus 100 at a time, and he nearly got in range, but SyDe cleverly escapes behind his Nerubian Tower.
Oh, and this is so sick. I love the building positioning by SyDe on the expansion here, with that Nerubian Tower being relatively far forward and not in a corner next to the expansion where a lot of people normally would have dropped it. So it is this really zoning mechanism here that SyDe has at his disposal to keep the Demon Hunter at bay, or if the Demon Hunter decides to ignore it, at least pose a threat for a surround or forcing a TP otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. And that Nerubian Tower is really deadly to archers as well, so we see that this one little tower is completely dissuading Neytpoh from applying pressure already. Now, we have this case study here, Kendric, where we can see both of the players going for a relatively early expansion, and then we can ask, who did it better? So we have the gold mine for the undead now already mining. That means more gold for SyDe. Neytpoh is only just starting to entangle the gold mine. But if we look at the tech speed, Neytpoh is at 50% already, whereas the Necropolis is at 1%.
For a moment, I was looking at SyDe's main base, and I was like, he's not taking... Is he trying some sort of ziggurat rush with mass schools or something? No, but he was... Oh, that was actually sick! And the surround comes through as well. SyDe, actually, with a masterclass here, really threatening the Demon Hunter, who does, of course, not have immolation. He would have loved to have that in this situation, but now he has a gap in there, but SyDe already on the check. By the way, keep in mind that he used a skull here to use some unholy ground next to the creeping. Lucifer style, you could almost say. Michael style, who's one of the few undeads who does that all the time, to provide that little bit of extra regeneration. But yeah, that Demon Hunter stole the item, got the greater mana. That's, of course, a wonderful thing, but also had to retreat and needs a greater healing right now.
Yeah, I'm not actually 100% sure if the Demon Hunter stole the Ogre Mage or not. Maybe he didn't get it if we look at the Death Knight XP, but we did have Neytpoh stealing the Greater Mana Potion, so...
That's true.
This Demon Hunter just achieved a lot of gold for the Night Elf faction. SyDe is going to try to quickly get level 3, but he will not be allowed to do so. Neytpoh, really good with his map awareness, now has a fully running base as well. And we can see that with the Hunter's Hall that Neytpoh managed to throw up at the north side of his base, he is now starting to make Ancients of Lore.
And look at the reinforcements coming in just in time for Neutron here with the Naga Sea Witch, a beautiful mid-game pressure hero. Of course, that is now not really a good target for the greater mana. I think he's going to sell it eventually, or maybe pass it on to the Naga at some point. I don't think it'll be a relevant item on the Demon Hunter for now, Grubby. But speaking of which, the Demon Hunter, man, really juiced out to the max with Boots of Speed. I love seeing that, and some other great items in his inventory.
Let's see where Neytpoh's going to go from here. We still have that Nerubian Tower, not exactly super strong. Definitely something that the Night Elf can stand in for a while without feeling too threatened. Nice cancel on the Tomb of Relics, but the Nerubian Tower is just going to take cheap pot shots on the archers, on the berserkers, and that is still just annoying for the Night Elf. And we can now see that SyDe is actually going triple crypt ghouls.
Crazy.
It's crazy. And these are slow ghouls. He's getting 1/1 upgrades. Is not yet heading towards tier 3 and will pause for the time being on 50 food, but where does mass slow ghouls get you against this army? It doesn't seem to be too good, but there's one place that it can lead to. If you can guide them and shepherd them across the map, you could just do like a brute force attack, a DDoS of ghouls, as it were, on the Tree of Life of Neytpoh. And you're gonna lose some ghouls, but that would be the goal to equalize, actually to level the playing field in the sense that you're getting a bonus expansion.
And here's the Naga with the lightning shield provided by the Renegade Wizard, actually, but decides that even that is not worth it to fight this abomination of a number of ghouls here, really. The Zerg, I almost think of it like a Zerg horde, you know, from StarCraft 2. There's so many of these little critters running around, and let's see what SyDe is planning to do with those. Like you said, Grubby, he could go for this run-by style where he tries to involve Neutron in a fight somewhere and then send like 5-6 ghouls to the expansion and try to kill some wisps, maybe the gold mine, or even the entire thing together. So let's see what he's going to do with that. But of course, he needs that tier 3, and it's on the way right now, Grubby. Ghoul Frenzy is about to happen.
Yeah, okay, so we have tier 3 started, 1/1 upgrades is on its way. And we have the Death Knight just getting level 3, and he's actually decided to go with Death Coil. Was thinking maybe he'll do an Unholy Aura level 2 and go for some kind of run by, but not the case right now. And Neytpoh, question, how do you counter mass ghouls like this, right? You've got a bunch of Dryads, you can go for bears. Do you just go for a Chimera Roost at this point?
I mean, those chimeras would eat those ghouls for breakfast, that's for sure. But Mass Strides seems like a legitimate strategy as well. You know, they are fast, they don't take bonus damage from the ghouls as well. And provided with the Demon Hunter, you can also control the undead heroes a little bit with that movement speed slow. So I wouldn't hate Mass Strides, but I mean, chimeras right now, why not? I don't think Neutron has taken any economic damage so far. He's rich, he's got plenty of resources, and if he wants to do it, I think it's very much a possibility.
We now have a push with Master Bears over 50 food. He actually cancels one of the bears, will still go over 50 food, and we'll get Master Claw training as well. And we see more archers as well. Okay. This is pretty unusual, Kendrick. Archers being added in at tier 3 as well. Neytpoh does love his tier 1, but he's not getting any upgrades with the archers.
Yeah, I don't really understand that either. I mean, Archers is probably the last unit you want to go for against Mass Frenzy Ghouls.
Oh no! Invulnerability potion was used by the Death Knight. What a misclick. And this was greater invul, wasn't it? No, it was small. It was small. Anyway, 150 gold.
Still annoying. I mean, when you have this many ghouls, you're probably going to force your opponent into the defensive anyways. But yeah, that's an item you definitely don't want to waste. He still has one in the repertoire of that Lich. By the way, speaking of that Lich, Grubby, he is pimped out with double claw in a ring +3. So as if mass ghouls with Frenzy Upgrade wasn't bad enough for those archers already, they're going to fight a pretty dangerous Lich compadre.
Lich is, of course, the main damage dealer for the Undead army. Has Orb of Corruption now as well, to be even more scary. The Demon Hunter's just trying to delay SyDe from getting that level 7 turtle at the bottom right. What's the Naga doing in the meantime? He's just camping at home.
Yeah, she's not really getting a lot of stuff done. She's uniting herself with the forces right now. Maybe he's going to try to take his own turtle in the bottom left right now, while keeping the Demon Hunter close to SyDe's forces. But yeah, that seems to be the course of action here. They're all moving towards the bottom left. Is level 4 in reach? Actually, no, it's not. But I love this Demon Hunter harass. You know, as long as you have both undead heroes in sight and you know what your opponent or where your opponent is, why not? By the way, is no additional undead unit coming out of outside of ghouls?
Well, he has the ability to go for abominations or statues or meat wagons, but is not doing so yet. So this is actually a really interesting part of Warcraft 3. I love it so much. It's upkeep management. It is deciding, do you want to play aggressive, yes or no? This is a zero-sum map. There's 4 gold mines total. They're split neatly in half. So no matter what you do, you cannot fall further economically behind by not having a strike force somewhere on the map. There's no risk that someone will take 5 bases and outmine you. What you see is what you get. And that also means that if you go over 50 food, you get the low upkeep, you're suddenly getting less money out of a finite amount of resources. SyDe says you have the better army, you have the better heroes, you've got the superior map control, but it's not easy to attack me in my main base.
True.
The way that he's going to play it is he's going to say, I'm going to produce as much as I can from 2 bases. And in order to do so, I need to save up 2k plus gold on 50 food. And he did that. And we now have abominations coming out. We've got meat wagons coming out. And we've even got 1 frostworm to bring up the rear. So no longer mass ghouls alone. He's got them. They're nice. They're well upgraded. They've got frenzy. They now have cannibalize. But double slaughter our statues is where SyDe is going to seek his glory.
Man, SyDe is turning up the heat, you know. More units are coming out right now. We see meat wagons. When I saw the meat wagon in production, I was looking for a Temple of the Damned immediately if there was some necros happening. But against Night Elf, that is always a gamble. Instead, we see A-bombs right now with Plague Cloud. So strong, especially against Dryads and the other cheap units. But look at this fighting position from Neutron. So well chosen with a concave there in the back, with the archers blocking a mountain giant, though. That is not really optimal. A bear also not being able to take part in the fight. So it looked good on paper, but I think the army movement was not there where it needed to be for Neutron right now. Still, some ghouls are falling. The Demon Hunter hasn't taken much damage at all, and he is here to stay.
Everything has been diseased, a few ghouls have been taken down, and SyDe even got supply blocked because his cigarette got demolished. If he can get an abomination, Neytpoh would be fairly pleased with this attack, assuming that he can get out okay. And meanwhile, meat wagons are starting to do some serious work. They've already taken down 1 Dryad, trying to get a second, but that meat wagon got taunted. Abomination still alive.
Abomination is still alive indeed, but so many ghouls are dying. They're desperately trying to hack that mountain giant to pieces, but it is so strong at this point. Now, look at this backline still firing, by the way. Level 4 Naga, she got a level up in that fight. Demon Hunter still looking good, and the Scroll of the Beast is there uncontested. The DK is dropping dangerously low here, Grubby. The meat wagon's exposed now as well, but Neutron can't really pierce any further into this base. Too strong is the zoning potential by these towers, so he's going to have to not get overzealous with this.
Question is, right, does he need to? He basically destroyed the existing ghoul population. This will take decades to recover. until they can rebound their population. Some ghouls come in. Demon Hunter gets level 5. Will get Mana Burn level 3 as well. And the Mountain Giants and Bears are just too formidable of a wall to be pushing through here for SyDe, who really didn't kill much.
Yeah, it didn't look like he could deal a lot of damage to Neutron's forces, and the Demon Hunter Big Daddy is getting close to level 6, and that, of course, could single-handedly be the GG, whereas the Undead Heroes are looking kind of weak. Level 3 DK, level 3 Lich after 15 minutes and a little bit of fighting is normally not where you want to be, especially when your Night Elf's opponent's heroes are looking so much stronger.
And now we have the tech transition coming in for Neutron. Double Chimera Roost in order to bring up some extra firepower against the Meat Wagons.
Nice.
Disease Cloud, not something that he feels completely comfortable with. His archers and bears are dropping quite low.
Yeah.
Upgrades-wise, Chimeras will only be 1/1, just like the bears and giants and dryads, because 2 attack upgrades were sank into archers. They did really good damage, but they don't scale that well into the late game against undead heroes.
Yeah, as well as the first Frostworm now joining the race, the ranks. So this is really like a late game air battle between these two players, and who can extinguish the other army quicker? That's going to be the question that interests us the most. By the way, this Demon Hunter, so tanky with double Periapt of Vitality, so hard to take down, even dodges the Death Coil here with an Invul, really wants to keep this Demon Hunter in good condition for this upcoming fight. And I think SyDe notices that he's going to have to deal some damage finally, because these heroes are going to get out of control. It's almost like racing against the clock here, so he wants to deal some damage, get some XP under his belly, and maybe even finally take down or damage at least this expansion. But man, the Chimeras are in production, Grubby. The Mountain Giants are ready. Everything is high HP, full HP for Neutron. I don't think this is going to be easy for SyDe to break.
But Kendric, the Tree of Life is in a fragile position. True. Unlike usually, the Tree of Life is at the south side, not the left side. Look at these 3-0 attack Meat Wagons. They only need 1 or 2 more shots. The Uproot is smart. It makes a better armor type against the Meat Wagons, but it's still enough to take it down without a fight. And we've got 2 Chimera in production, but after that, Neytpoh is going to be out of resources. This fight could be where SyDe turns it around, Kendric.
And it's true, he has a TP even, so even if things snowball out of control against him, he can just TP out and enjoy his luxurious 2-base lifestyle. But he's here to fight for a little bit longer. The Frostworm nicely positioned over the walls, over the tree, so it's not that easy to attack it. But the damage, of course, from Neutron is real, and SyDe realizes this. He's done what he wanted, he's got what he came for, so he's TPing out of this mess. And yeah, that was a critical blow. A surgical strike with 3 Meat Wagons. You don't get to see that every day, do you, Grubby?
No, you do not. It was 4 Meat Wagons, in fact.
4 even, holy moly.
Crazy stuff. Now, keep in mind, SyDe killed enough units for Neytpoh to drop under 80 food once again. And this gold mine is not getting any poorer. Eventually, Neytpoh will tap into those resources again, and it's really just a delay. If you keep killing someone's Tree of Life, you're really only dealing 325 gold damage per kill. So it's not a sustainable tactic. Really what killing someone's expansion does, as opposed to their workers or their army, is by halting their progress for a bit, their economic progress. They will momentarily not be able to upgrade, which will really work in SyDe's favor. 1/1 upgrades for Chimera still. And they will not be able to expand their army or their item count too much. But Neytpoh's already at 75. So unless SyDe can push much over 79, the opportunity that he has isn't that big. He still needs to do a really serious fight.
That was so close. That's
so
sneaky Shade Boy. He almost did it. Because Neutron has been doing a really good job using an invisible Demon Hunter, thanks to the Invis Potion, of course, to use as a mobile scout, you know, and to, with a moment of surprise, just zap the mana from the shadows. But SyDe finally putting a stop to this and using a Shade. But yeah, of course, immediately healed back up. The Demon Hunter, that is, with Moonwells, with Rejuvenation. And this time, Neutron is prepared for this same angle, for this same attack strike. I don't think he's going to fall twice, though. But look at this air army, by the way, by SyDe. It's getting really dangerous.
Yeah, 3 Gargs, 2 Frostworms. He just finished an attack upgrade. Those are going to be able to deal with the Chimera, no problem. The only problem being, I guess, the Mountain Giants, with the taunts being quite annoying. Look at those Gargs. They're actually getting torn apart by archers. So it's kind of a pre-counter by Neytpoh, getting those archers so early. Boom, 3 Gargs down, but the Meat Wagons did gun down the Tree of Life.
That is true. Once again, no income on the second base, but at what cost, Grubby? These Chimeras now unleashing havoc onto these meat wagons. 2, 3-shotting them, really. But now the Frost Rooms, they can attack the Chimeras, whereas they cannot attack back. One goes down. Let's see what happens to the next one. So many of those guards have died, by the way. And even the Demon Hunter now in critical health condition. Staffs out the second Chimera, and now these archers, what can they do? They're so low, ticking down to that plague disease cloud consistently. And gets a big Nova. Triple kill for the Lich. SyDe is on a warpath right now.
Oh, the Naga just got level 5 with that Abomination kill. Demon Hunter at level 5.5. And Neytpoh did manage to cancel the Tree of Life, recouping some of the losses of having to cancel that Tree of Life.
Yeah.
Dropped to 66 food. SyDe, 67. So it feels kind of even, right? But remember, SyDe still has that running base. But if we look at the main bases, 1,200 gold each. So for the next 120 seconds, which is how long it'll take to mine out, for the next 2 minutes.
Oh, the Demon Hunter.
Demon
Hunter in the middle gets the staff out, but the damage from those Frost Rooms is huge. Can he execute him? No, the attack speed not fast enough. That was a very dangerous situation. And Grubby, yeah, I think it's also hurting for Neutron that it's currently daytime. He cannot regenerate against this constant ticking damage from the disease cloud. It's so annoying for Night Elf players constantly having low HP units, especially on the Mountain Giants. It is just so much value that you really get over time with this one upgrade.
2,700 lumber, 50 gold. Neytpoh doesn't have Nature's Blessing yet, but it's starting to look like a game where really making an expansion does no good whatsoever anymore. He's going to have to walk his tree over, so I expect him to get Nature's Blessing right here. There we go, because he knows it's going to be a one-base scenario. He's trying to squeeze his way to 70 plus food, 73. SyDe, in the meantime, still producing units. He's going to go with some destroyer upgrade. Okay, so he thinks maybe it's going to be like a hero focus game. So he needs to be able to remove rejuvenation. But I don't really see destroyers being that useful now.
Yeah, they hardly do anything really against the Mountain Giants. True, they can be used to maybe snipe some bears, but they also have to be very careful not to get sniped down in return by these archers. And also, of course, Demon Hunter, very strong.
All right, so SyDe is pushing to 79 food. He's getting more meat wagons.
3 upgrades, by the way, Grubby, on those abominations.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Not the prime tier 3 you usually see, but SyDe is making good use of them. They can stand a little bit longer, at least, against a Demon Hunter, against the Naga's Forked Lightning.
Yeah, the Demon Hunter, man, 5.5. He could really need some Metamorphosis action right now, and just uses a mana burn and then staffs out to safety, realizing that he can't really do much more. The Invis scouting, harassing, by the way, completely shut down still by that Shade. And Neutron, what is he going to do now? Dropping some aggressive Wisp positioning here to even help the mana sapping more.
Nice flank with that. It should be more effective from a flank than trying to walk straight at someone. The Tree of Eternity is halfway here. 77 food, that's what Neytpoh has to deal with. 1 Chimera, 2 Mountain Giants, about 3 bears, 4 archers or so, and a Dryad. This is looking pretty bleak for Neytpoh. You know what his goal is going to be, Kendric? He is going to want to have Metamorphosis coming out. So that's his main chance to try and win this.
Kind of reminds me of a human versus Night Elf matchup here, where the Warden is desperately trying to get level 6 to finally break the late game. But now, of course, it's the Demon Hunter. Look at this mobile Acolyte Sacrifice Reinforcement Squad here, just really acting as mana batteries for the Lich and maybe additional front lighting here. But this could very well be the last team fight, or the last fight in general, of this match, guys. We have the Night Elven Defenders against SyDe, the Penetrator.
And he's throwing, that's his name, he's throwing disease everywhere with meat wagons. Absolutely disgusting. Focus fire on the Chimera, gets stuffed, will survive for now, but it's coming right back in again, the Chimera. Nice Wisp detonates from the back.
Absolutely sapping all the mana away, but look at these Frost Worms, completely unrivaled up in the air. The Undead Air Force is demolishing those Night Elven Bears. Great focus fire, two-shotting them really. But the DK dropping low, has to use the invul. What about the Demon Hunter now? The last hope for Neutron to really stay in this fight. He's dropping dangerously low. He's so far away from that level 6 still, really, though. One Nova could be the end, but no mana on the Undead Heroes anymore. That's a dangerous staff, though, right next to the expansion. But there he got him at level 6 for the Demon Hunter. Can he turn it around with the death of the Death Knights? Naga falling, though. Heroes are falling left and right, Grubby.
Demon Hunter level 6. Metamorphosis has been turned on. Ranged and chaos damage and bonus health. Minus 150 mana burn on the Lich. We've got two powerhouses here. The Demon Hunter with Metamorphosis against the Lich. Almost has enough mana for a Nova, but no! But he destroys the Demon Hunter.
And the level 6 Lich, he cements the downfall of Neutron. What a game, ladies and gentlemen. And to imagine that we're into a best of 7 today between these two psychopaths, really, in this long game on Echo Isles. Late game, juice to the max. It was really unpredictable who was going to take it with these strong heroes, back and forth swing. So many strong air units we've seen as well. It was truly a pleasure to cast that.
Yeah, that was mad. This is one of those rare games where you've got no inkling whatsoever who's going to be winning, who's going to be coming out victorious, and it's coming down to the very wire, the final goal, the final fight. I mean, the way that Neytpoh destroyed that Death Knight, Fork Lightning with the immediate auto attack follow-up, boom, went down, but then the Naga went down, then the Demon Hunter got level 6, and then the Lich was getting level 6. It was pretty crazy. What a wonderful first game here. 1-0 for SyDe in this best of 7.
Absolutely, guys. For those of you that just tuned in, we have a best of 7 going on today. And from now on, of course, in the future, all games on Fight Night will be best of 7s because the more games, the merrier. And when you have a stacked lineup like these two today, there's hardly enough games you could possibly watch. And, you know, for both players declaring that they're not really in good shape today, I think this was a very fun game and a very good game, really, with very few mistakes, I would say.
Yeah, nothing too big, no silly losses, though it seemed close at one point for the Demon Hunter, but he was juiced up, man. 2 parry-ups of Vitality, a Ring of Protection, no, 2 parry-ups of Vitality. That's how the Demon Hunter kept himself alive. Was pretty crazy. I'm just looking at the at that final fight once again.
Oh, so good.
Good focus fire on the Chimera was the key. That Chimera was not able to shoot down Abominations. Wonderful Wisp flank there to detonate all that mana away. But a key move by SyDe was to always have Mana Potion on Death Knight so that they still had something to go for after the mana burn had done its dirty work.
Yeah, so strong. Only in the end, with that final swing, was SyDe able to pierce through the defenses of the Night Elves. You know, Neutron, he tried really well, but ultimately, I think his own base layout, it really crippled him a little bit because of the Chimera Roost positioning. The tree always had to be put next to the flanking angle where SyDe continued to attack from. So that was a little bit unlucky. If he could have placed his tree in a little bit more of a defensive position, maybe it wouldn't have gone as easy for those meat wagons. But hey, it's a new game right now. Game 2 between SyDe and Neutron. We're going to Northern Isles, and that map is a whole different beast. It's larger, it's less predictable, it's less structured than Echo Isles. So let's see if any of the players is going to shy away from their previous strategy.
Yeah, we had the Demon Hunter Naga by Neytpoh at all times. We actually, it reminds me of the Undead versus Night Elf meta in the year 2005 and 6. During this time, 2 Korean Night Elves that were not named Moon were also very strong in this matchup. Remind and Soju, the legendary 2-on-2 Night Elf team from South Korea. And when they went with Demon Hunter Naga, which is a very strong early and mid-game tactic and hero combination, they would add the Pandaren Brewmaster third in order to have more area of effect and have another strong tank at the front. Yeah, so I don't know if that's something that could be brought back again. Neytpoh decided to favor his double hero. Yeah. One thing is for sure, Panda is not that easy to creep up on Echo, but maybe easier on Northern Isles. But he wouldn't have had level 6 Demon Hunter by a long shot.
Yeah, that's true. We've seen something similar played by Remind a couple of days ago, I think, where he went... It wasn't against Undead, mind you, but it was kind of similar to what you said, where he went mass AoE against Human with Warden, triple hero. I think there was a Naga Chain Lightning, Fork Lightning, sorry, in there. And I failed to remember what the third hero was. It might have been a Pandaren, actually. And he was just going mass AoE and worked super well against the Human opponent, who was very surprised by that.
And we see Tinker taking that role sometimes as well. Tinker third with rockets. But it's going to be the Demon Hunter and the Death Knight again. This time only a single Nerubian tower, which means SyDe will not be repeating the same expansion style.
Yeah, really good execution, by the way, on that big creep. You know, take no risks really with that little Acolyte sniffing around, you know, what's going on. Maybe he can ram his dagger into one of those creeps and steal it. Happy, of course, very well known for this, but many undeads have actually done that here and then, and when it happens, it's just such a big deal, because it usually prevents level 2 for the opposing hero.
Yeah, exactly, but people are starting to respect that little Acolyte and his 9 to 10 damage. Feels so bad when he steals something big, you better just respect it. Undead players have got that timing down better and better, the better the player is.
True.
SyDe with the quick tech, 4 ghouls. Yeah, just 4 ghouls, no graveyard yet. There we go, finally with the graveyard. 3 ghouls, actually. Wait, where's the 4th ghoul? Oh, he's creeping with the 4th ghoul. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, he's creeping the Murlocs with that one. And, of course, a much earlier tech this time, Grubby. No fast expansion, so SyDe switching it up a little bit, going into a more standard build. Of course, still ghouls. Not seen very often, but I think we get to see them more and more, especially from SyDe, who just loves them. Really, can we call him Mad Frog Jr. at this point, you know?
SyDe does love himself some gargoyles, and it looks like he is indeed going for that. Mad Frog always loved that as well. Haven't seen him for a bit, by the way, the frog.
That's true. I've been following his stream for quite some time, because he always streamed when I was usually sitting on the PC working some stuff. Oh, the decal coil actually coming through.
Nice.
And is he going to execute it? No. A little bit of a jebaited coming in here. The greater health potion was at the ready. But still, that's a big win, forcing the item out this early.
Yeah, that's a 400 gold item if you purchase it. It can be sold for 200. No one ever sells it. So apparently that item is worth... No one ever buys it either, by the way. So that item is worth about 300 gold. Neither its selling value 200, nor will you buy it for 400. So that little coil and that stab, that gains SyDe 300 gold worth of value. That makes the Demon Hunter easier to focus fire down later on in the game. Wonderful advantage for him.
Really strong. Really good snipe there on the item, if you will. Has, of course, no mana left now. Can't get any wisps for his efforts. So let's see. He's keeping the nightelf busy, keeping him contained a little bit in his base neutron, that is, who once again relies a lot on archers. No huntresses to be seen, of course. Against the playstyle from SyDe, huntresses early, maybe have 2 or 3. Wouldn't even be that bad, though, against the ghouls.
Yeah, we see Sonic favoring huntresses. They can lead to very aggressive styles in all kinds of matchups. He will add a few, even in the forbidden matchup against human. Not supposed to make any there at all. He does. But yeah, we see archer-centric style. Oh, nice insta-heal by Neytpoh, denying the coil steal. This is not something SyDe is super invested in. It doesn't need to work out. He's just trying to do a bit of scouting and so on. He saw the Hunter's Hall. He sees the absence of the heroes, so... Yep, it's just kind of going around doing mischief. Immediate tier 3 tech, by the way. Gargs in tier 3.
Gargs in tier 3. Maybe adding a couple of ghouls then with Frenzy later on as well. This is the Mad Frog style, really, in its full form. Trying to keep the Night Elf busy on multiple fronts, trying to snipe some wisps with the Gargs. Of course, later on, depending on how many you want to build, you can also snipe Entangled Gold Mines or at least force some repair here. So, Neutron, of course, will probably have faced this style several times before. Let's see what he's going to respond to. So far...
The funny thing is,
go ahead.
When Neutron was winning so many games on ladder, before the new pad ladder system, before Reforged, Mad Frog was streaming a lot at the time. Mad Frog was one of the few undeads who could actually beat Neytpoh. And I saw one particular game on Northern Isles, just like this, with Death Knight and Gargoyles. So is that a weakness for Neytpoh? Is that something SyDe studied? Or does he just have this strategy in and of its own right?
Yeah, hopefully Neutron is not getting any PTSD from these Gargoyles games and has a little bit of a counter plan prepared. Level 3 Demon Hunter, by the way, once again, so strong on the items here. Boots of Quel'Thalas, movement speed, of course, greatly appreciated to catch up to these Death Knights with Aura. So he's just going to chase that hero down, rendering it completely useless and unable to creep.
SyDe has done a good job of keeping the health on his Death Knight high. Oftentimes, if you push your Death Knight a little bit too hard, he can get to like 150 life and it becomes a vulnerability, a liability. Neytpoh, double illusion, goes for the Ogre Mage here. Could get a really cool item, Pendant of Energy, parry up to Fatality. He gets the Claws +9, not bad at all.
Yeah, that is definitely something he can work with. Really creative use of the illusions here. He might even just go for the entire camp if SyDe doesn't decide to really step in and, you know, drive him away. And I don't think SyDe is expecting this at all. He doesn't have a second hero yet. Where's the Lich?
Then, yeah, this has been Death Knight only. You cannot actually afford non-stop gargoyle production if you go to tier 3 immediately.
Okay. So
and
he's
the
gonna...
Lich, of course, would be vulnerable to Demon 3 because you would take 1-2 mana burns to the face and be effectively useless. He'd rather have 2 more Gargs in order to have a group that can one-shot a Wisp. Though he hasn't been doing much of that. That's the idea, that's the theory, but it's not been working out much.
Yeah, so he's trying to get some damage done here. Finds the hidden second Ancient of War and also finds the hidden Tree of Life and tries to take that down. So Death Knight only.
Naga surround.
That could be a huge surround, but such good wiggle room for Neutron. Dances with the undead counterpart. And now, of course, these archers are so vulnerable to these gargoyles, to the ghouls here as well. Only archers, though, so far, though, for Neutron.
Very unusual response, Kendric. This is a ghoul. This is very Reign of Chaos, early TFT. Ghoul Garg versus mass archers. These archers have attack upgrade. There's been no attempt to go for dryads or anything of the sort. And SyDe actually does a very good counter against this. The frenzy timing with a small pocket of ghouls. No second hero, no speed scroll, no heal scroll. Why would he have speed scroll? No heal scroll. And just lots of Gargs and ghouls. And this is a wonderful timing attack. This is how it looks like when Undead wins the game.
This is so huge. Every single archer has been eliminated. No, 2 survivors actually, 2 ladies still in the open. But now the Gargs have found them and they're basically dealing with them. And like you said, Grubby, no Lich here. Focusing on larger gargoyle numbers really pays off. The hero focus damage is actually ridiculous. With the armor reduction coming in from the Death Knight, kills the Naga like it was nothing, just walking into Neutron's house and taking all the belongings with him. This is SyDe's base right now.
Nice mana burn there by Neytpoh, but this Death Knight does not rely on his mana.
Okay. Well, that's not how we would have put it, Grubby, but Neutron...
Because we're contractually not allowed to.
True. But yeah, Neutron not very happy with his playstyle there. Probably thinks that he could have done a better job microing. But yeah, that was a strong showing by SyDe, though. Really cool.
Honestly, Kendric, mass archers like this against a Ghoul Garg timing attack really just doesn't work very well. It's very comparable to Brute War when you're going for like Hydralisks only in Zerg Mirror, and the opponent has Zergling Mutalisk. That never really worked very well. And I don't know if it works in SC2 right now, but anyway, when you have these fast-moving air and ground units, it's usually hard to focus down the ones that you need to. The ghouls are dealing too much damage, and the Gargs, they can focus fire, and they're hard to actually focus. There was just a lot more units on the field by SyDe. A very bare-bones attack that didn't invest in Shade, didn't invest in follow-up tech, not too heavy on the upgrades, no second hero, no heal scroll. And by shaving all that away and making sure he had a well-flowing build and non-stop unit production, he put all of the available gold he had up to that point, which was like 8 minutes, really. It's a very short period of time, into usable army. And then you look at the investments that Neytpoh made in that game. He power leveled his demon, but had no Orb of Venom, so he can't deal with the Gargs. He didn't power level Naga, and she doesn't have area of effect, like a Panda Might, an Alchemist. He upgraded his archers, but he didn't have any meat shields nor good position where he could funnel the undead army into a small choke. He was caught out in the open, and he made a second Ancient of War that hadn't been used yet, a Hunter's Hall whose sole purpose was only to give an upgrade, and a Tree of Life that hadn't even begun to walk to the expansion. So we probably had like a good 1,000 gold by Neytpoh not being put towards the fight. SyDe recognized that very well. Wonderful timing attack. A clean, easy win for him.
Clean and easy. That is really what it looked like on Northern Isles. But guys, we're going into game number 3 right off the bat. Almost no downtime. And this time, we're going to see these players duke it out on Amazonia. Strong Night Elf map traditionally. And if this was the old Fight Night format, it would be match point for SyDe. But since it's the best of 7, Neutron still has all the chance in the world to come back and stabilize. I think for him today, it might be more of a mental challenge than a practical challenge in the game. Also, guys, of course, we want to highlight our bounty system. If you decide to support the stream a little bit today, cheer for your favorite players, whether it's SyDe or Neutron, doesn't matter. A lion's share of this will go straight into the players' earnings. And production crew, of course, will also receive a tiny bit to keep the flame going.
And thank you, 9 Spoons, for the 1,500 bits. Saw
dude,
that
9 Spoons
during
is
one
such
of
a
the
bro.
Games. Yeah, such a bro. Thanks for the support, dude. Really appreciate it. Didn't manage to see any others. I don't have a list in front of me, but thanks. And thanks everyone else that is supporting the Fight Night. We're at roughly, I think, Fight Night 24 or so. And we have no signs and intention of stopping. So do appreciate that support. Here's our first best of 7. Can SyDe get it to the match point? Can he win this one? Or will Neytpoh start to climb back and mount a comeback?
Yeah, I actually cheated and spied on SyDe's stream title today because I think he's live streaming this as well. And he, in his title, has Fight Night 23. So the Michael Jordan episode today. And so far, it's looking really strong. It's looking really fun, especially as an Undead player, Undead follower of all these years. It makes my heart sigh in joy, really.
Yeah, it's nice to see both of these players here. We have the lightning shield manipulation by Neytpoh actually being cancelled. Initially, now finally he is going to get it by the Acolyte. And look at this! The Acolyte is actually blocking the Archer from the prime position, where the Archer would have had a surface area of 3 creeps. Just little things, you know, little things that are actually... Oh, and the deny on the creeps as well. It's just slowing down Neytpoh a little bit. It's just wonderful to see these little moves done with perfection.
You know what? This little... SyDe is the conductor, and that little Acolyte was the first violin. He just played that like a symphony, really. Perfect. From start to finish, like you said, blocking the way, preventing the perfect location for the Lightning Shield. And then, as his final act, you know, he decided to give his life and deny the experience by dropping himself into those knolls. Wonderful. SyDe, really, in peak performance today, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, very dramatic ending, as befitting such a beautiful symphony with his own death. He knew how this was going to be ending. Neytpoh now, unperturbed, using his Archer to proc a double and snare AI move by both of the trappers, allowing his Demon Hunter to creep this troll level 4 without taking altogether too much damage. Small little inefficiency standing still for a few seconds, but that was very well done.
Look at the agility. Once again, Neutron, man, he can't complain about bad items today. Double
10
boots.
armor.
Yeah, a lot of armor. Double slippers and a ring of protection on top. He won't have to fear these ghouls in the early game at all.
Yeah, he's got an effective health of nearly 1,000 already. Find another slippers, and I'm going to sing like Lady Joanna here. I wouldn't be able to believe it, and it is going to be another one!
It keeps happening. Plus 9 agility without any other claws, any orbs. This Demon Hunter already so scary. Now, Grubby, I want to ask you, if everything goes right for you in the early game like that, and you find the perfect items, does this change your playstyle? Would Neutron now say...
Just click on the gold mine.
Yeah.
Just click on the gold mine and kill it. Well, you can be a little bit more aggressive, but you shouldn't get stupid. It's best usually to ignore that you have it so that you don't actually play different from what is optimal and ideal.
Okay, coming in here with the Wisp, by the way, threatening a detonate against the Skellies, forcing SyDe to take a little bit of a more defensive stance. And Neutron, what is he going to do? He's probably going to buy the boots or a Telestaff. Which one is it going to be? Boots! Both, actually. Selling the ring, decides he's got enough armor and damage anyway, so ain't nobody got time for that ring.
Yeah, I mean, if he was going to go for a strength hero second, he would probably drop the ring in a secret place. But he'd rather just sell it. It's not that good on Naga. And he has no space or time for that on his Demon Hunter. Yeah, so anyway, nice save on the ghoul by SyDe. What's he actually going to be doing? We have a graveyard, but this time no second script. 3 different games, 3 different builds by SyDe. 3 similar builds by Neytpoh.
Really cool to see. And so far hasn't even used his infamous Dreadlord fast expansion or Dreadlord style. Of course, Dreadlord, we have to say, if there's
Slippers.
one... You gotta be kidding me. Is he gonna put them all? Yeah, he even passes on the TP, says, Naga, you carry that for me, because he's busy dealing the deeps.
I wish that Neytpoh had a Horadric cube so he could turn 3 of these slippers into a Boots of Quel'Thalas.
Yeah, if he was playing an auto battler, he could transform them into even more powerful slippers, and have space in his inventory. That would be so nice for sure. What are the odds even? Maybe someone in chat can do the math. You know?
1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 options. So 1/4 times 4, like 4 times 1/4.
I've always been a sucker at math, so I'm not even gonna try.
Same.
But yeah, anyways, we don't have to be a rocket scientist to say that this is insane. And now, ooh, for a moment I thought the surround was closed here.
But even if he gets the surround, I feel like Demon will just kill everybody.
Yeah. Oh, so much damage on those ghouls. And now, of course, the Naga, in all peace and time in the world, she's going to take that level 2 while the Demon is still doing his business. Level 3 plus 12 damage. Now, is
Gloves
SyDe...
of haste. That's actually pretty attractive. Is he going to give the boots to the Naga?
Oh my god, is he going to do it? Full Terminator build?
No,
doesn't do it.
Demon is a better chaser.
Yeah.
Meantime, tier 3 by Neytpoh, double Ancient of Lore. We have a Slaughterhouse and a Lich by SyDe. Classical tier 3 by both.
Yeah, and once again, SyDe takes his sweet time. Doesn't go for the Lich immediately. Decides that he needs to crank that tech out. Steals the Wizard. So nicely done by Neutron. Of course, item goes over. Oh man, those would have been the boots of Quel'Thalas.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Would be so sick if he got that as well. Had no space on Demon to steal it, even had he been near. Did you say that the Demon Hunter and Naga got that experience?
Yes, the Demon stole the big creep with a mana burn.
SyDe was trying to delay his final damage on it, but because mana burn has a delay, I think he started to hit it too early.
Yeah. Anyways, though, Boots of Quel'Thalas, is he going to pass that on to the Lich, or is he going to keep it on the DK? For now, keeps it on the DK. Might perhaps sell it later if money ever gets, gets low. But for now, the Lich is here, completely sucked dry, of course, once again. No mana available. The Demon Hunter, once again, being the bane of an undead.
Yeah. Naga, in the meantime, got the Scroll of the Beast, the worst item, hands down, that the Night Elf could find, because he actually has the upgrade to do the very same thing with his bears.
That is true. Is there going to be some bears, by the way? For now, only Dryads.
He's got the upgrade, so here we go with the bears,
Good.
followed by Master Claw training. And then the question is, does he... Hey, wait a second! Look at this base! Look at this undead base, Kendric! What is that?
That reminds me of the infamous SyDe Necro plus Meatwagon style. I mean, we've seen this before. So this is very cool. So I've talked to SyDe privately outside of Fight Night and was asking him if he could contribute a little bit of a video replay breakdown for the Heroes Hearth channel. And he very kindly agreed, and he showed us a game. You can check that on the YouTube channel if you want to, guys. ! YouTube in chat. And he showed that game. I don't remember the player. It was a French night elf. Exactly that style. With meat wagons and necros. And, of course, a ton of ghouls. And at some point, he overwhelmed him with mass numbers. Of course, night elves do have this perfect counter with wisps. So that has to be applied. But even the best night elf doesn't have infinite wisps. And it's going to cost you over the course of time.
Okay. And we have the Unholy Frenzy now on the Lich. Pretty nice damage coming in. It's exactly like you said. We've got Meatwagon and Necro. I've never seen this. I've never, ever seen this in a pro game. Death Knight, Lich, Necromancer, Meatwagon from one base.
Against night elves of all races.
I mean, Necro Wagon, I think it's always been best against Night Elf because Meat Wagons, they do a very important niche in killing the many unarmored units within the Night Elf arsenal. And the skeletons, like you said, wisps are not infinite, even if it seems that way sometimes.
Yeah, and of course, it's really hard for Dries to manually sap away all the skeletons. That's going to be very mana costly, and you can probably only do it to 3, 4, 5 skeletons, and that's it. But we're talking about different numbers here, Grubby. We're talking about if this army reaches its final form, we're talking about 5 Necros, 4 Necros, a couple of Meat Wagons. So this is going to be dozens of skeletons, really, in the best case scenario.
No town portal. We have a scout now for the natural expansion. It isn't there. He's going to kill an Ancient of War. Kind of a small problem for Neytpoh, not really. We have Archers, Bears, Dryads coming along really nicely. We have a heal scroll. 2 slippers were actually sold for an Orb of Venom and an Invul. We have double Gloves of Haste on the Naga. Nice creep camp, much needed experience for SyDe before actually going into this fight. It sees Lich get level 2, Death Knight get level 3, but no town portal. So if a fight breaks out, that's gonna be it. Wisps are being brought. Neytpoh is aware of this tactic.
He knows exactly what's coming. Now, needs to be a little bit careful with those detonates. You don't want to be disenchanting your own roar too much. And, of course, he's trying to focus that Meat Wagon immediately. So much counter damage coming onto the Demon Hunter, though. Needs to be careful. No more protective items after that. Only a staff. Level 4 is in the house right now. The Naga, currently the next focus target. She was luckily carrying on the TP scroll. And that, for now, puts Neutron in a safe spot once again. But he could already get a first taste of what this Undead army is going to look like.
And I think it's never the first fight that actually is the best for Undead.
True.
It's that disease, the insidious disease slowly taking its toll within the ranks of Neytpoh. As everything is taking 2 damage per second for, I don't know how long, quite long, like a minute?
Yeah.
Total of 120 damage. That's really what's going to hopefully help soften up the Night Elven army, because it's SyDe who suffered big losses in this fight, not Neytpoh.
If you're playing against an Undead, I can tell you how long it feels. It feels like an eternity. It feels like it lasts forever. But yeah, it's so strong, like you said. And of course, all these additional units, especially during daytime, they're not going to heal. So this feels especially dangerous and so annoying for Neutron right now, constantly emptying those Moonwells because of it. Level 3 on the Demon Hunter, though. Level 4, sorry, even, looking very good. These heroes can really be the lifesaver right now for Neutron. But how much time does he really have?
Well, 50 food versus 50 food, and infinity waiting is not actually a very good proposal for Neytpoh. Typically, Night Elf is the one that wants to have an expansion. During moments like this, they don't really like one-on-one against Undead, because Undead has better siege capabilities than Elf. That means that they get to choose when they fight. But there is one very important thing that SyDe will want to move out of his base for, and that is the Granite Golem here. He's got one, and he's going to want to protect or take the other. And for this reason, Neytpoh may get a fight out in the open. He doesn't want it yet. He wants to go on 1 healing stint first. Maybe push over 50. And the reason here to go over 50 is to conquer that Granite Golem. Neytpoh isn't doing it, and I'm a little impressed, actually, because it looks like he might lose his chance to contest the Granite if he doesn't have enough units.
By the way, Grubby, I feel like that SyDe's playstyle in the army composition that he has is going to be very micro-intense. He's going to have to distribute Frost Armor individually, Unholy Frenzy individually, and then take care of so many skeletons at the same time, while also, of course, prioritizing the right targets of the Night Elven army. So, can he do it? Can he really keep a max efficiency up on the entire force? Let's see, though. Now, currently, he has to fight on 2 fronts. Against the Golem on the one side and against the Night Elven intruders on the other side. But does Neutron even want to engage here? Look at all these creep corpses, by the way, that were left by the Night Elf earlier, now serving as formidable skeleton reinforcements, and no wisps nearby, Grubby.
Yeah, no wisps at all.
Crippled.
We have 50 food by Neytpoh. It's almost like Neytpoh is trying to make this last longer without actually being serious about ever winning this fight. He's not expanding. He's not going over 50. He's not providing alternative tech routes. No Chimera, nothing. Just being here. Boom. There we go. Double Mountain Giant. That's why he was waiting. But it means he gives away this creep camp.
Yep.
Entirely.
That is what he does. Luckily, the item goes to SyDe, so that was at least worth it. But, of course, these collapsed by the big old grenade golem. They hurt like a mother trucker. So now, what can he do though? Demon Hunter Hero Focus seems to be the weapon of choice. One big weapon removed from Neutron's arsenal, and it looks like he has to TP out. Can't fight without his main hero, and I think it was a wise decision. But once again, he finds himself in this dilemma. So much damage being done onto his units. He didn't really get that much except a couple of skellies here and there, and the items went to the undead as well.
Yeah, I think Neytpoh didn't lose any units.
True.
And he killed maybe 2 ghouls, maybe 4 food worth. So pretty small losses on both sides. But the Medallion of Courage went to SyDe.
Yep.
So that's a win for him. Level 3.5, 3.5, 2.5 against 4.2, 4.5. Naga's not really a late game powerhouse. Fork Lightning is nice, but it's no Fire Breath when it comes to skilling that up high. Good upgrades here for Neytpoh, but again, that disease clouds. Moonwells are stretched to their limit, and the time of day is 3 a.m. A little bit more than 2 hours away from daytime, where the Moonwells will be dry forever. These wisps that are coming in now, that's going to be pretty much a one-time thing that Neytpoh can use.
Yeah.
So SyDe looks to be in a really good position, Kendric.
And I love what he's doing there as well. A lot of undead players, if they were to play this style, they would sometimes forget about the skellies. After a fight, they would just leave them in the corner and let them die.
Yeah.
But not SyDe. He decided to use his skellies as mobile scouts. And thanks to that, he found out that Neutron is trying something sneaky. He's trying to go for an expansion. So now, instead of just taking his sweet time and trying to get some more reinforcements gone, he's once again on the aggressive side of things, no pun intended. So SyDe, the heroes are in position. Let's see what he can do. So many skellies now unloaded from those meat wagons for the first time.
Is he gonna dodge the wisp detonates? 1 or 2 didn't hit everything. There's still skellies left. Abomination goes down instantly. Second abomination. Oh, beautiful detonates. There's so little mana left on the Necro. SyDe needs to get the heck out of here.
Wow, those were golden detonates, really exploding all over the undead army. So strong. No more skellies left. That was fantastic. These Necros are basically useless right now. There are no damage dealers. Without mana, there's absolutely nothing they can contribute to this fight. And SyDe decides that it was time to pack things up and try again. But this time, unlike last time, Grubby, the damage has been done against the undead. And with this expansion going up, Neutron, for the first time in this series, looking like he's gonna take that.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna take a miracle, a disaster, depending who you are rooting for this game to be having a role reversal. Expansion for SyDe is coming up. It would require a massive show of ignorance and bad attention by Neytpoh to let that come up and be relevant. He's 71 food with 1-2 upgrades. The skeletons, 0-0. Necromancers recently been deprived of all mana, same with the statues. These statues have all the use of statues. It's like they're not even obsidian. They can't do anything.
You know what? I think we overlooked one important detail, Grubby. The expansion for SyDe. He basically built one himself and is now running. Yeah. So 2 base versus 2 base.
Is there any way that Neytpoh is just going to let him have that?
Yeah. That is the thing. I mean, it's almost like his mountain giants preemptively show what their next course of action is going to be with those trees in their arms. I mean, there's no reason for him not to turn on the aggression. The question is, the moment he's moving out, if SyDe has the vision and the map awareness, is he not just going to counter-attack with the meat wagon and a couple of skellies? So, in those races, of course, when it comes to destroying expansions, undeads normally lose, especially without Necropolis to TP back.
Yeah. And, of course, he doesn't have TP, and the map is too small to actually do that. He would need to walk in a giant arc around. Yeah, so many Necros. But he doesn't have... He doesn't have any mana on the statue, so he can pretty much summon Necros like 6 corpses worth.
Yeah. That's probably
That's it.
So the skeletons are being summoned. 4 wisps in the mix, though. Level 5 Demon Hunter once again, and we mentioned this earlier. This hero is no joke. Strong items, strong levels, it's not going to be easy. Bears in position, mountain giants, sweet spot here next to the heroes, distracting them and taunting them like crazy. DK, by the way, last second save, both heroes using invul potions simultaneously. GG comes in from SyDe, though. He realizes that the moment these potions are over, the heroes are going to fall, and with the expansion, of course, and the destruction of their own, that is the first game that Neutron takes. The Night Elf breath comes back into his body, and he is here to make this series a little bit longer. 2-1.
Yeah. The third strategy by SyDe, and it looked like it had a chance sometimes, didn't it? I wonder if micro-wise he could have made it work, or if Neytpoh just countered too well. I think the biggest strategical advantage Neytpoh did is saving up on 50 so long. Going for 2 Mountain Giants seemed very useful.
I think so too, yes. It looked really strong. I think if you give your opponent too much time to build countermeasures against the Necros, to have an absurd number of Wisps in the fight every single time, with the expansion, of course, as well, maybe SyDe needed to be a little bit faster, a little bit more aggressive, like he was in the previous games. But it was really hard to say. I think Amazonia is just much more forgiving in terms of the Night Elf's expansion location and the fighting where he chooses it to be, compared to maybe Northern Isles and Echo Isles.
Yeah, especially Echo. The layout of the map played such a big role, right?
Yeah.
The meat wagon's always being protected. Amazonia is so wide open that these kind of tactics that really need to arrive in a precision and have walls protect from either side, there's not a single position on Amazonia that has that layout. The closest thing was actually next to the Granite Golem. SyDe had that really weird position. Necromancers to the Merc camp, and then the heroes at the top, but it somehow worked out because there was a lot of forest that was messing up Neytpoh's position, and he didn't have the Mountain Giants yet.
That is true. We're now going to Concealed Hill, which is going to be our next map. And I like it. A lot of people don't like it, but from a caster's, observer's point of view, I really enjoy the battles around the fountains, the battle around the ogre. I think it's always nice to have these tense moments. But let's see what these guys can do. No orc, by the way, this time. But night elves, of course, prefer this map as well. Undeads, not sure what undeads think about this.
I think Undead likes it against human. They actually like it against orc too. I think they should anyway. Against Night Elf, I feel like Night Elf is quite good on Concealed Hill. Undead does have the option to go for Gargs and to take the Red Drake, but the expansion location can be difficult to assail.
All right. 2-1 Grubby. When I came online today and I knew it was going to be Fight Night time, my initial thought was it's going to go all the way. Full distance. 7 games. And I think so far we're in a good course. What do you think?
Yeah. I was thinking maybe SyDe will win 4-1 or so. That's still possible as well. Let's see.
I actually thought Neutron was going to win. And he would probably make it look a little bit harder for SyDe to win those games. But so far, he's really coming out swinging, the Frenchman, that is. And I think it really shows that SyDe at the moment is very active. Reminds me a little bit of Hitman in the way how many games he plays at the moment, how much he's streaming. So he's very active, and it really shows in his play, I think. Very few mistakes, like big mistakes, you could say.
And he's a creative player. He clearly enjoys the game and enjoys playing the game in different ways, and that's a strength as well. But it can be a weakness if you pick the wrong thing on the wrong map. Let's see what he's going to do now. As for Neytpoh, he's got incredible endurance. Neytpoh always, or Neutron, always gets better and better as the series goes on.
That's true.
I've rarely ever seen the opposite.
Yeah, and of course endurance is what you need in this long best of 7. One of the few best of 7s in Warcraft 3. Not many tournaments use this format, so I hope you guys are having a good time. And if you do, feel free to let us know by giving us a shout out on Twitter. You can always interact with Grubby and myself. If you have player requests, if you have other feedback that you want to share, feel free to get online and get involved. It's always great to hear you. By the way, Neutron, almost overlooked that, is not going for Demon Hunter this time. He's summoning the Keeper.
Yep. Going with that Keeper of the Grove. Generally a hero that specializes, just like the Dreadlord, in securing an early expansion. Treants to help creep faster and tank damage, and Entangle to threaten away any ghouls or heroes that would dare to harass and threaten the Sacred Grove. After that, because Keeper is not a fantastic hero in a 1 versus 1 based scenario in most cases, Destroyers being a big counter to him, After that, generally, Night Elf will mass air. I've not often seen Dryad bear tech with Keeper because bears and Keeper get countered by the same thing, destroyers. So typically, you'll take a unit that counters the Keeper. The Hippogriff or the Fairy Dragon can actually destroy destroyers and thus protect the value of the Keeper of the Grove.
Yeah, I remember the early 1.30 days when the Keeper was to be found everywhere, and especially against Undead, he looked so strong with that mass air style, and I really felt sorry for all the Undead pro players out there that had to micro on so many fronts, you know, with the Fiend stutter stepping, back web. It was so hard to watch at some point, but you know, SyDe actually hasn't produced a single Fiend in this series so far, and it doesn't look like he wants to change that plan anytime soon, you know. And instead goes, of course, for a couple more ghouls. Early tech this time, so no expansion plans coming around, which, of course, like Grubby said, on Concealed Hill is a little bit harder to do. You know, the expansion spot, first of all, is far away from the base, relatively far away, and with those gnolls guarding it, it's no piece of cake to actually take that without taking too much damage in the process.
I missed a few seconds there, so I cannot have a clever response. No, it's all good. It's all good. My wife was looking for the bread flour. I don't remember where I placed it.
To give you some treats for next stream?
I don't know. Bread for the dog, bread for me. I didn't find out. She has to find it first.
Okay, good luck to Cassandra auf jeden Fall.
I'll be cheering for her. So, Keeper level 3 attempt here. Natural. Oh, there we go. Tree of Life just gets thrown down, and SyDe is in a prime position to cancel it. But, and he's got the Cloak and Staff. That helps a lot as well. But the Keeper is almost level 3.
Yeah, the Keeper is almost level 3, and that is likely going to be a level 2 Entangle to keep units away from interrupting this expansion. Now, of course, the scouting tool of SyDe is gone. No more echoes. And the DK. He's sniffing around, trying to find some weak spots here, trying to maybe hurt some wisps, and crippling the lumber income for at least a little bit of time during the tech. Tech is almost done, though. It looks like Neutron is very well-rounded in this game. Oh, he's going to surround the DK, but of course, there's a TP staff. No problem.
Yeah, the sickest part is where you do a natural surround without entangle.
Oh, yes.
That's how you can interrupt the Staff of Telly with the entangle. Otherwise, Staff is always a get-out-of-jail-free card from entangle. You just take a bit of damage as you are leaving.
All right, here we go, guys. What is SyDe's response to this? More aggression, double crypt production with Gargs, or an expansion? It looks like he's going for the aggression. Gargs incoming.
Haven't we seen a game like this by Ente on Last Refuge many fight nights ago, maybe about 20 fight nights ago? Last Refuge, it was Ghoul Garg Death Knight, and then he switched to Fiend Lich. And this was against Keeper and Mass Air expansion. Let's see if it's going to be a nuanced Garg fake out like that. 120, the Chinese Undead, also did this build once, going for Gargs and then into Fiends, trying to have someone overproduce Garg counter. I don't know if that's going to be it, or if it's just Ghoul Garg expansion, which is what it actually looks like.
Yeah, I was looking at the graveyard, if there were any upgrades on the way that would have hinted towards maybe more Gargs or potentially Fiends coming in, since they share the same tech tree. But so far, we don't see any of that. Instead, Tier 2, no hero inside, once again goes for solo DK.
Yeah, otherwise you cannot afford the expansion with 2 towers, which he's doing. I think these Gargs are for a little bit of harass and then into Red Drake creeping, and no more than that. And the 2 Crypt are ready to start double mining. Oh no, there we go. He does go for more Gargs.
Yeah, maybe. I think he's gonna perhaps cancel this expansion with the Keeper now knowing about it. It would be very expensive still, though, to just cancel 3 buildings out of the get-go.
I don't think he wants to. I think he's going to get in the Nerubian, maybe cancel the gold mine once if there's enough Treants. For the most part, he just wants to save this.
Yeah, it's of course going to be enough damage here, guys, with those Treants. 4 at a time, plus a Keeper. Oh, needs to be careful, though, not to get surrounded. Of course, does have a Telly Staff. Yep.
It would be so sick if he suddenly came in with Dreadlord, sleeps the Keeper, and kills him, but unusual.
Yeah. So yeah, Neutron is really reading his opponent very well. Now, of course, his own expansion is on the way, so this was the perfect timing to really deal all that damage onto SyDe's bottom right corner. Loses the trees. Oh, actually dealing a little bit of extra damage now, but of course, now the gargoyle numbers could be very dangerous. With an expansion, you can support tremendous numbers of gargoyles.
Interesting fact here. Alchemist forgot the clause of attack +9 for a bit.
Yeah.
He also hasn't decided what he's going to skill in abilities yet. He's level 3, but he's only got 1 acid bomb. He wants to decide. Okay, there we go. Double heal spray is his choice. We see the red Drake creep. What item does he get? Devotion. Not bad. Nice offset against acid bomb. The big surprise here is that Neytpoh is going tier 3 in Hunter's Hole. No mass air, which is traditional when you go for Keeper Expo.
Yeah, of course, he could have those hippogriffs as a very strong anti-air solution, but maybe he wants to stick to mass archers right now, really. Of course, it's always a double-edged sword. On the one hand, they're really good against the Gargs. On the other hand, they're just going to get sliced and diced by the ghouls, especially the more time passes and level tier 3 coming on over. Still hasn't picked up those claws, by the way, +9.
Yeah. But this time, there is healing spray level 2. They can just stand still. They don't need to kite against the ghouls and Gargs. Just spray and you're going to be just fine. Don't worry. It's going to be hard for SyDe to defend. There is a Lich coming, 30%. The gold mine got cancelled, though. This actually looks phenomenal. Phenomenal for Neutron.
Absolutely. You know, the Alchemist healing just showers over these archers and keeps them safe and sound. Expansion completely dismantled, to the ground, razed. Malfurion has cleansed the land once again. But now, what is he going to do here with that harass? Summons back the Keeper, but that is just one hero, but that's enough for now. Where are the Gargs? Trying to snipe the entangled gold mine. Is that going to be enough damage, though? I don't believe so. 5 Gargs against a almost fully saturated gold mine. These Swifts could have repaired that until the end of time.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you said, we do have the Death Knight power creeping. This is fairly unusual. Very quick level 5 Death Knight could lead to some cool snipes. What item does he get? Scourge Bone Chimes. Mixed feelings about that, I think. There's no air for Gargs to use their melee attack. Ghouls don't really have enough use for it. Lich comes in. This is not Ghoul Frenzy, though. No Orb of Corruption.
Oh boy.
Death Knight hightails it out of there.
Yeah, needs to pull the brakes immediately because that was not a fight he could have taken. The creeps were still chasing on the one side, and of course from the other angle, there was Neutron already coming in hot and heavy. Now, he keeps trying to rebuild that expansion side that is. It's really been a futile effort so far. Do you think it's necessary for him to get that up, or could he have maybe just gone for an all-in attack?
I think he has to because Alchemist is level 3. If Alchemist is level 1, he can still try to circumvent Acid Bomb level 1 and do some Ghoul Frenzy attacks. But he delayed his tier 3 at this point. He was at a fork in the road and he went left. And it would take way too far to go back to the right now. He needs to see this maze through the end, even if it's a dead end, because he doesn't have enough food to go all the way back. To complete the analogy, he needs that expansion once again, and it's almost going to be done. And even from that point onwards, it will be a very long road for SyDe to get to a point where he actually can fight Neutron. But Neutron's going for a different tactic. Mass attack upgrades, Orb of Venom, tier 3, pot him with True Shot, and then 1 bear for Roar, presumably. Mass archers. This is a really cool style. Oh, we do have double lore, so it's going to be Bear Archer. But it's still showing how much Neytpoh loves archers. And although they have high damage, there's some serious drawbacks. They have very low health.
They have very low health. The longer the game goes, the more hero levels will come onto the undead heroes, especially on the Lich with that Nova. The more dangerous it's going to get. This time, there's no Demon Hunter to take care of them with the mana burn, so if things go wrong, these archers are going to get Novad and Death Coiled quite heavily. Triple hero now coming in, by the way, for Neutron with additional aura damage. Now really going all in onto those little archers. Speaking of which, you don't always get to see it, but this Keeper can actually be a real carry. Plus 30 damage now with the Moon Priestess in Tau.
That's so sick. Plus 9 damage, plus 12 damage claws.
Crazy.
True Shot, Mantles, Circlet. He has as much bonus damage as he has base damage.
That's how soft he normally hits with his little birdie, but this time it stings pretty bad. It hurts pretty bad. Is SyDe going to respond with a third hero here? We haven't actually seen him go for the infamous undead trifecta at all today. No Crypt Lords, no Pit Lords really to be added in the mix.
That's true. He's only just gone to tier 3, finally getting that expansion that he wanted so badly. At this point, there's a few things left on the map. The remainder of the middle. Give a little bit of nice experience and gold. Don't forget about that gold. And then there's that laboratory on the left side of the map. It is important as well. Hey, oh, wow. Goblin Sapper just got murdered by SyDe off to the right side. 2 Wisps and a Sapper were killed.
Oh, that's very nice, actually.
Shredder in danger.
Oh,
How much
that's such an expensive target if he were to snipe that one, and I think he's going to get it. Unless there's some Wisps maybe repairing it. Needs to hurry up, though.
He's gonna die.
Yeah.
375 gold, 100 lumber, and less future lumber income. He's got a nice bank, but this will eventually matter. There's not actually a lot of wisps on the map. I think maybe 0 wisps mining lumber right now, Kendric.
Yeah.
That's not a lot.
But Neutron says, I don't care what you do to my base because I have my expansion
Fake.
and I'm going to take yours. Was a fake here, indeed.
Yeah.
Very nicely done, but this could be the real deal. And SyDe realizes it, immediately pops out, uses the counter TP, and says, I'm not ready to fight here. And that would have not been a good location for him to fight at all.
Neytpoh has no shredder, 8 wisps for gold, 0 wisps for lumber, and is at over 50 food. So he's neither really mining the amount of gold nor lumber that he wants.
True.
And he attacked an expansion, killing just a ziggurat, but not the gold mine, nor the Nerubian tower. He has put himself in a corner economically and put himself on a basic unit, tier 1, mass archer with roar and 3 attack upgrade. It's gonna get outscaled eventually. SyDe is mining from 2 bases on no upkeep. And he's found and killed the Tree of Life. This is a huge pick-off. This would have been a chance for Neytpoh to get back in the game.
Yeah. This is so magnificent for SyDe to find. He has enough ghouls there as well. I think he's going to take it down. True, he might lose a couple. No, he actually abandons it. He's not committing fully to it. He does have a TP. Uses the staff instead, though. He's not going to get it, but he saves the DK.
He's gonna die. He's gonna die.
Is it going to die? Oh, he dies.
Because he staffed to the wrong thing.
Oh my god.
If he staffed to the shop, he would have healed potted in time.
Did he staff to a ziggurat or the gold mine?
The back acolyte of the gold mine.
Oh, that is so unfortunate.
Stuck. Immediate rebuy. This is exactly what Neytpoh needed to get back in the game. He knows that it happened too. He saw the experience go up on all 3 of his heroes. Huge loss.
He wanted too much there. Instead of committing to destroying it and then TPing out perhaps, he got neither. He didn't kill the expansion and he lost his hero on top of it because of an unfortunate click in his base. And now, Neutron smells the blood in the water. He's out there sharking around, taking down building after building, and ultimately results in taking down the second base. SyDe is in the ropes. SyDe needs to make something happen right now.
Yeah, he could have actually just kept the 5 ghouls with him, finished the tree off, TP out with the DK, maybe lose anywhere from 2 to 5 ghouls, and he would have had the tree at least.
Yeah.
But instead, it was just the worst of all. Losing DK, not getting the tree.
Oh boy. He tried to min-max it out, you know? He really tried to make the best possible outcome happen. Instead, he got the worst.
Yep. And now it's actually SyDe that has no lumber income. 128 in the bank, 0 ghouls currently mining. With a kind of desperate, I hope I can snipe your Tree of Life with everything I have kind of moment. Well, at this point, he's 47 against 80. It's amazing how quickly the fortunes actually reversed.
That's true. And I love what Neutron is doing here, by the way. Splitting his army up, leaving 1 bear, maybe 2 bears, and a couple of archers at his expansion so he can drop a roar onto those archers and drive away the gargoyles that were trying to harass once again. Instead, or in the meantime, his main army is there to keep the undead in check. So Neutron basically all over the map right now. 3 base soon to be online. SyDe is going to have to pull off a miracle. Level 5 DK does have some mana, greater mana potion. These heroes are going to have to do double time, triple time even, to allow the undead to stabilize.
SyDe just used the heal scroll, even though there was no threat. And there was no there's healing fountains on the map.
It's the second time this happens, right? With the invul earlier?
Yeah, it almost feels deliberate. He didn't write, damn, I'm idiot afterwards, so...
Oh boy,
It
Neutron.
shouldn't be deliberate.
Neutron is looking strong now, even has the Owl Scout in place. So that cheeky, unkillable Owl is going to always provide vision here for the Night Elf player. So when... Oh my god, look at this army. I mean,
Yeah.
Neutron is 78 supply into this, just shy of high upkeep. Massively buffed archers, bears in the front even with those treants to block the ways in. There's no way SyDe can actually kill us. Look at this damage. It's insane.
Acid Bomb, 3-0 attack, marksmanship, roar, 12 archers, entangle,
Yep.
Orb of Venom.
Yep.
He got coiled and died 2 seconds later.
Ay. Neutron, man, with the equalizer. I think we might be on our way to see the reversal. Like you said, Neutron, he's like a turtle, you know? He starts off slow, might take a couple of hits on his shell, but when he's there in position and has come up with a strategy, he pops back up and like Blastoise, drops a little bit of water and splashes them away.
But this was, respect to Neytpoh, but this was a bit of a throw by SyDe. I don't know that he would have normally won it, but the DK move, Neytpoh already said, balls, dude, like staffing out like that?
Yep.
He got away with 28 life. That's difficult to claim that it was calculated. An equalizer, but SyDe is playing a little bit worse every game, and Neytpoh a little bit better. At this rate, Neytpoh should be able to take it 4-2.
I think so too. Maybe it's time for SyDe now to show us something different. The DK-only style, it didn't really work out in the last couple of games. Dreadlord, how strong is he against Night Elves? Not really that strong, I think.
Yeah, Dreadlord is
Not an option.
very risky. You either get mana burned a lot, which forces you to get Vampiric instead of Sleep Carrion. If you go Vampiric, you cannot stop Huntress Glaive Thrower push against an expansion. Carrion Swarm is needed. You can't go Carrion against mana burn. If you're against Keeper, they can actually do a big Keeper Treant Wisp Archer attack that makes holding expansions very difficult. And I've never seen a Dreadlord one base tactic by Undead, so it seems tough to do that.
That is indeed tough, guys. I think we're going full distance if it continues like that and SyDe finds his rhythm again. If not, we're going to almost go full distance and Neutron will take it. But, of course, it's too early to say that. While both players are gearing up and refreshing themselves, we're going to show you guys the bounty breakdown if you feel like supporting these two outstanding players who are really showing a fireworks of entertaining games today. Then feel free to drop some donations or Twitch cheers if you feel like it. That would be much appreciated. And really, Grubby, I don't know what it is about Fight Night, but I feel like over all these months, we haven't had a single series that was drop dead tired or drop dead disappointing or boring.
Yeah.
They always deliver here on these weekends.
It helps when players know in advance who they're going to face so that they can bring out special counter tactics and bring their best. There's a lot of implicit earnings in it for them as well. $200 for a win and the ability to do the same 2 weeks from now. Doesn't cost them too much time either. It's not like a league where they need to play every day or every week. It's just every now and then a nice motivating match. So a little bit of fun entertainment for the fans. They can even co-stream it and it puts their name on the map and has them reign with the Fight Night, trying to stay on top. And Neutron said, he wants to beat Hitman's record. So if it ends here with SyDe, he would not be satisfied.
That is true. Currently, the Emperor of the Fight Night, the longest reigning champion still is, of course, Hitman, like you said. And Neutron has a special relationship with that player and, of course, wants to overtake him, wants to show the world once and for all who's the real Fight Night champion, or the best Fight Night champion of all time. And so far, he's on a good way of it. He, of course, needs to overcome SyDe two more times, which is not easy for any player in Europe, really. So let's see. We're going on to Twisted Meadows. This is traditionally a very good Night Elf map, Grubby. You can probably elaborate why so many Night Elves like to play it, but ironically, it's SyDe's loser choice.
Yeah, Twisted Meadows is a fantastic Night Elf map, except when facing Undead. Then it's just neutral or even difficult. The map has gotten a little bit better for for Undead. For Night Elf.
Yep.
Before, when Twisted Meadows was not changed by Blizzard's Warcraft team yet, they had Red Drake level 10 on the map in the islands. That made for easy gargoyle creeping. Now it's a granite golem, so it's not nearly as easy. Actually, taking the expansions was a popular tactic for Undeads, and just lame the Night Elf to death with 3/3 Gargs and Frostworms, expanding on every island. Hazuops from your country, the German player, loved playing like that.
My twin.
And he beat your twin. He beat all the best players in the world with it. Moon, Remind, Soju. And he was just internationally good. But he was accomplished in Germany. But when it came to Night Elves on Twisted, he could beat anybody. And in the team leagues, it was so cool to watch. So this is a great gargoyle map, even without those dragons. But less so now.
Wonder... Now that you mentioned Hazuops, I actually want to do the research at some point to see who's won more German EPS back in the days, Mew or Hazuops. Do you know?
I think Hazuops maybe won 5 or so. I think maybe Hazu 5, Mew 3, Exor 3, but I'm guessing here. I don't know for sure.
Yeah. We will try to tell you next time, guys. Anyways, let's get back into the match and see what the players are up to. Neutron, of course, early expansion creeping here with an Ancient of War. Archer is at the ready. And once again, we see the Keeper of the Grove. Of course, makes for early creeping. Makes it a little bit easier with the Treants. They're blocking each other out here, by the way.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get stuck, but it's actually okay. The ensnared Treants being in range to attack is the ideal way to summon Treants, so that both can become active. What is the item? Ring of Regen. Pretty weak. Yeah. Not what you want to have on any Night Elf hero, except Demon Hunter or Warden.
Oh, the Ancient of War, by the way, dropping dangerously low, but of course Neutron has done this creeping route dozens and hundreds of times in his life, so he knows exactly how much damage he can take there. Breaking no sweat, really. The DK now in close vicinity. Let's see if he can find a target. Maybe that Trapper, one of the two, can actually snipe one. Oh. Yes, he can.
6 steal, important. Keeper not level 2 for a little while longer.
Yep. Is he going to get the second one? Yes. Easy double snipe. And of course gets a treat as well as the icing on the cake. That was actually almost an entire level. Beautiful creeping stealing by the French Undead.
Very important. DK does not have an easy time to level up once Keeper is level 2 and on the warpath. So any experience he wants to get helps. He stole 48 per Trapper, killed a Treant and a Wisp. That nets him 141 XP, or 70% of the way there to level 2. Keeper got level 2 from a skeleton.
Pretty good. By the way, since we were talking about numbers and stuff in the EPS, I caught up with chat earlier. Did you see it? What the likelihood was of him fighting 4 slippers?
No, I didn't see.
I think there were a variety of numbers, of course, and we figured so. That's why we didn't even try to do the math. But the consensus seems to have been 0.4%.
No, it has to be less.
I think it was, someone said 0.39, but I don't think anyone went lower.
I will calculate it now. It's it's 0.39.
Okay.
0.4%. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's true.
That's crazy, huh?
0.4% is correct, yeah.
All right. Anyways, guys, we thank you for your input. As always, it's great to catch up with chat, even though there's a 3-minute delay. So it's not always fast, but we get there eventually. Both players harassing each other tremendously here, by the way. SyDe canceling the expansion attempt. And in the meantime,
but he doesn't get the Wisp. He doesn't get the Wisp, so the Wisp can easily re-expand again. I guess it doesn't matter too much. There's another Wisp near. This is a bigger problem. Acolyte's being attacked.
Yep.
Coil on the entangled Acolyte. He still has all of his Acolytes alive, but it looks like this one will fall. Necropolis almost done, though, so not too bad. Neytpoh actually will hightail it out of there with Staff of Telly. Yep. Get a little bit use out of that Ring of Regeneration.
This was actually a fine trade, I would say, for SyDe, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to go back, that's true. But all in all, he got level 2. He can reproduce this Acolyte quite handsomely and force Neutron back. So he stalled out and bought a little bit of time for the expansion as well. So I think this was an even trade.
The really big deal here is the cancel on the graveyard. This is a very slow building. I think it's 70 seconds.
One of the slowest, yeah.
And he saw double crypt. The pure scouting capabilities of this incursion by Neytpoh, canceling Gargs, has spelled out exactly... Oh, wow, true shot. He doesn't need bottom this game.
As someone who is a dedicated ladies' man, like Neutron, going for archers only, this is the golden item. This is exactly what he wants.
So he can actually do the same thing he did in Concealed Hill, but instead of bottom, he gets a free other third hero pick.
Panda, maybe?
Could be Panda, could be Tinker with rockets.
Let's see what he's going to do here. SyDe, by the way, this time not going for an expansion off the bat immediately. Also doesn't spend a whole lot of resources, though. He currently has almost 600 gold, 360 lumber.
Gargs. His graveyard got delayed. He's been wanting Gargs, and they just got delayed for like 90 seconds because of that graveyard cancel. This is very late Gargs. He does have a cool Death Knight level 3 that gets vanilla surrounded. This is risky. Oh! Okay.
That was...
I just want to say how risky that was. If the keeper had been near and he had tried to staff that way, that's a Death Knight. This was really, really risky play by SyDe, which left me speechless.
It's not the first time that SyDe decides to go the risky route in these situations. It paid off this time, but it backfired tremendously as to so much it would even lose him the game in the previous game. So, how many times can he get away with this? We're going to find out. Now, of course, has a couple of Gargs in the mix, summons a Lich as reinforcement, second hero. But of course, Neutron ahead in almost every aspect of the game, it seems, really. Creeping, level 2 Alchemist already in the game. The expansion is up, and Tangling Goldmine will be ready soon. So SyDe, he's just, I would say, because of that graveyard cancel, like you said, Grubby, really, really good to point out. He's almost like 30 seconds, even a minute behind in everything he does.
No, more, actually.
Yeah.
Like 1.5 minutes. Except like his hero level, that's fine. But in terms of doing an expansion, getting Gargs, getting vision, getting scouting information, I mean, he's playing blind right now. He's just gonna do like a 2 Garg Ghoul Lich attack.
Yeah.
The Gargs in this case like are barely a factor. He's doing a Ziggurat into a gold mine, and he's gonna try to kill as many archers as he can. And that is good for him because every archer that dies cannot mount a hippogriff, and those beasts are coming in.
Yeah,
big time.
That is so cool to see, Neutron finally taking a different route, switching it up a little bit, and of course he knows exactly how much damage he's dealt earlier, so he knows that if I start making hippogriffs now, I can match the numbers of the gargoyles and I won't be behind. Whereas in the previous game, it felt like he didn't want to make them because his opponent already had such a vast number of Gargs in the air that these hippogriffs probably would have gotten decimated.
That's true. Before there was like 4 Gargs when you could make that decision. 1 Garg for 1 Hippo Rider is a good trade for SyDe. Keep in mind, Hippo Riders are 4 food. They combine a Hippogriff together with an Archer.
Yep.
That's a 4 for 4 food trade now for Neytpoh. He does have a running expansion here, which places him ahead. But SyDe is going to match up. Because of the vast distance of the map, the size, SyDe will get that counter expansion much easier than he did on Concealed Hill.
Absolutely true. Cross position, the longest possible walking path for either player when it comes to harassing the expansion or even kick it. So this is really going to shape up to be a longer game, I think, unless one of the players makes a heavy mistake or some big blunders. But this could very well be a game that goes into 15-20 minutes with epic battles if they siege up in multiple bases. So let's see. I'm not sure as to why Neutron goes for a large number of Hippogriff Riders here, probably to dodge the Nova on the Archers, maybe? I don't know.
Well, this is like the meta when the new Keeper style became comfortable for Night Elves. This was the meta. Keeper, Archers, Expo. As many archers as you have to be matched with hippos for Hippo Rider, and then into Fairy Dragons. And that was just the style, and it's pretty good because you've got superior economy. It sucks at equal economy, but it's good when you have a superior one. That's no longer the case, though. So, like, unless Neytpoh makes something spectacular happen, eventually Gargs will beat out Hippo Riders cost for cost fairly easily. Oh, nice coil steal! That was so long distance!
That was one for the highlight reel there, sniping at long distance with a Fatal Whale coil. I like it. And you mentioned something really good, Grubby. You said that Gargs usually out-trade later on in the game, and I think Neutron made one mistake in his eco, and that is the lumber. If you look at it...
He had 1 wisp mining a minute ago. 1 wisp on lumber. He now has 3.
He can produce. It took him so long to build that second Griff out of the 2 Ancient of Winds. So his army at this point could have been much stronger, much bigger already. But because of the lumber and the uneven distribution, it is really starting to hurt him now. And I think with this, the early speed advantage that he had by killing the Graveyard is now gone.
Yeah. He's going to dismount so that he can fight hippos in the air. He's got heal spray and... No. He has acid bomb and chemical rage. Hippos are chasing down Gargs. They're slightly faster without the unholy aura, so they're actually getting a lot of kills on the Gargs here. But he pulls them back right when the Gargs turn around. He could have got some free hits in.
Yep.
But the Gargs were pulled back and they are safe. These towers will provide a difficult position to attack into. And we've got a whole load of useless hippogriffs here. At this
Absolutely.
time, more Gargs are coming in, so they will eventually be used, but they can't creep very well, hippos.
That is true. Hippos, they are great at fighting the Gargoyles, like you said, but they're not good for creeping at all. And even when you mount them up with the archers, they're still weak units. One of the weakest in terms of raw damage output. They...
Huh? What?
Not sure what that was. It looks like a desync. Or a
Someone
disconnect.
secretly using Reforged graphics.
Not me. I have...
Not me.
Okay, we got chat as a witness. Let's see what happened.
I think what happened, maybe it would be Warcraft crash. This happens very rarely to people.
Yeah, maybe a disconnect, Warcraft crash. We're checking the Discord right now. It wasn't on Neutron's end because he's typing. So it must have been on SyDe's end. But this was an even game, really, I think.
Well, I think SyDe was quite ahead, actually. With that decimated lumber income and Neytpoh being at just level 3-2 with a pure Hippogriff Rider army and no other techs prepared. Against Mass Gargs on equal basis, against DK3. I feel like SyDe was very far ahead, but he doesn't need to be salty because he is the one that had the technical issue. So
Yeah.
there can be no malicious intent. It just sucks for everyone involved.
Yeah, and of course these players are good buddies. No one would be so eager and motivated to take or try to take a def win here. So we're just gonna wait and see what happens to SyDe. He doesn't respond on Discord either, so he probably has some network issues on his side. I think, Grubby, after all those games, and with this being a good opportunity to do so, we're going to take a small break and refresh ourselves. 5 minutes or so, and we're going to figure out what is going on with SyDe, and we're going to keep you guys up to date the moment we get any news. So don't go anywhere, grab some snacks, refill on drinks, and we'll be back right at you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have returned. With SyDe facing off Neutron, it is currently a tied match with both players reaching 2 wins so far. It's a best of 7, so we're not at the end zone yet. We're not at the match point status. But Grubby, by the way, I wanted to ask you, like seeing your fancy backgrounds, how's Grub Manor coming along? The 5th jacuzzi installed?
For every follow on Heroes Hearth, I will install another window in this penthouse. I will have another marble staircase step leading to heaven.
So right now, guys, hit that button. Let's do it.
Let's follow this Heroes Hearth channel, and we can build a stairway to heaven together.
By the way, to give you guys some clarity on what happened in that last game, it was indeed SyDe's internet connection.
Oh.
I think, yeah, we just got thrown back to the lobby in Super Bowl style. But yeah, it was basically an internet issue for SyDe, so no desync. This one time, Blizzard was not to be faulted.
Yeah, this time I think Neytpoh accidentally closed the game,
I think so, yeah.
Or so. Yeah, just a good old internet outage.
Yep.
We will have a rematch. That which is lost must not be rued or grieved. We will move on to a brighter future and a new game where both players will need to give it their all while using everything that they learned from their first rendition of Twisted Meadows.
Hey, by the way, we had a very supportive person in chat that told us how many EPS titles went to Mew, Hazuops, and Xlord. And supposedly it was 6 times for Mew, making him the unrivaled champion in Germany back in the days. Hazuops won twice and Xlord 3 times.
You know, that's strange because I've always felt Xlord and Hazuops to be a lot better than Mew, but somehow he always freaking did it. And I remember thinking that was weird because Mew usually didn't beat anyone not from Germany, but he was really, really good at beating other Germans.
He never made it onto the big international stage, I guess, where he was taking down Koreans, you or other stellar players on the highest level. But certainly he was a force to be reckoned with in Germany. That's true. Xlord probably achieved... Yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry. Yeah, Xlord probably... you wanted to say?
Yeah, achieving more internationally.
Yeah,
and making a name for himself in that international aspect. But Mew, man.
And Yals achieved some nice things internationally.
Mm-hmm.
But funny story about Mew, considering he's extra good at beating other German players, a break in solidarity, you might say, not very nationalistic. There was another funny moment where he was in 2003 in ESWC. He was part of the Electronic Sports World Cup. He was part of SK Gaming, a German-based team, but with an international roster, including Swedes and other like French and other nations. And I think SK had like 5 players posted to that event. And Mew was part of a 6-player group stage together with like 1 or 2 other SK players.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they weren't facing first. So one thing that can happen is one SK player may be guaranteed to advance, and another SK player might still have a chance pending other results. So there's like the possibility, and this is kind of gray area or in fact quite illegal, but like not playing your best or losing so that a friend can advance. Sadly, this does happen sometimes by some teams or some players, and it can be prevented by tournament organizers, either to punish them when they know it happens or to make friends and teammates play each other first so they cannot coordinate the group and manipulate who advances. Anyway, Mew was in a situation where he was already out.
Yeah.
But one of his teammates and friends could still make it. And, you know, people are like, oh, you know, I think that's going to happen. You know, it sucks for whomever is going to get the advantage. And he just didn't do it. Like, he played out of his mind, played his best, threw out his own teammate because he wouldn't cheat.
Yeah.
And because no matter if he had no chance, there was no prize money to be won. And people were like, dude, WTF. It's like a cop drunk driving and his colleagues are like, no, go ahead. You know, you're our friend. And like, no, he's not going to do it. He just played it fair. And it really rose my respect of Miyu by a lot, because a lot of other players, you're never 100% sure, but you think, okay, I think they just did that. That kind of sucks.
You got to make sure to protect your own brand, your own integrity and reputation, and Miyu certainly did do that. I love it. Another fun fact about Miyu, I'm not sure if I've told this on stream in the past. I used to be his Orga, his team manager for Execute Esports back in the days before he went viral and became this good player. So was able to hang out with him a little bit online, but then our ways parted, of course, because we couldn't keep him. SK knocked on the door and was like, we need this German talent. And as a small indie team, we were like, no, Miyu, don't go. But can't blame him.
Very cool. Didn't know that.
Yeah. Those were the days. The old school days. And if you had told 15, 16-year-old Kendric back in the days that he would cast with Grubby and get to know all these wonderful players and co-casters, I would have probably called you a damn fool. But here we are. The Warcraft 3 journey.
Pleasure is mine, buddy. We have the rematch now of Twisted Meadows. Again, cross-map, swapped positions.
So what are we going to see here? Both players switching it up a little bit. At least Neutron it is. Different location for the Ancient of War this time around. Goes for the Knolls instead of another expansion creep. Wants to switch it up a little bit. Do you think there's a reasoning behind this, or is it just something to do with the location of his base?
Yeah, I think it's... oh, wow, he's just changing it all up. Demon Hunter.
Yeah. Well, okay, that explains it.
This is normal, right? Neytpoh effectively was losing the first game on Twisted. And through no fault of his own, it's a rematch. You play the cards you were given. And if you're losing with that build, it just really wasn't looking good. He had no solution to kill the counter expansion. His own expo was delayed. He had an obsolete unit choice. Of course, switch it up. He's going to play more aggressive this time. Demon Hunter. And you know what? It is, to answer your question, I realize you are right. This is also positionally based. Yeah. Because this Ancient of War can be done on any position, but only here and top left will it eat its way through the trees to subsequently creep the mercenary camp, which will lead to a very big explosion of army. Yeah. Berserker, Priest, Archers, and Neytpoh loves to spam mercs and do a big Demon Naga Archer merc push. Can be very tough to stop. I'm curious to see how SyDe will deal with it.
And we saw this Acolyte, by the way, hacking on that Wisp, and only in the last moment did Neutron pull it back. Acolyte steal? Not happening this time. Claws and experience go over to the Demon Hunter, whose name is Painkiller, by the way. Just saw that one. Didn't know the name existed. Sounds like a 2003 Leet Speak nickname for a 13-year-old Fortnite kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe should have added some ones and a 4 in for the pain.
I think I actually knew about Painkiller the Demon Hunter before I ever considered the English version of Pijnstiller, which is the Dutch word for painkiller. That's how Warcraft I am. I've got Warcraft in my veins. I work after you.
I could never enjoy a PlayStation game. It's called Onimusha. It was a action RPG with a samurai, and the name of the main protagonist was Jubei. Not kidding. Really? And I always had the Blade Master in mind. Yeah. Always had the Blade Master in mind.
You couldn't think of Jubei as not being the Blade, yeah?
Exactly. And then there was the demon lady always calling out for him, Jubei! And all I had in mind was just, my blade is 6 inches. I couldn't take the game serious anymore.
You know it's not really 6 inches, right?
How long is it actually? Do we have confirmation?
7. No, it was cold that day. No, but... You know, that's not what he says. That's just the favorite misheard version.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
What does he actually say? Can you correct it?
My blade seeks vengeance.
Yep. There we go, guys. There's a couple of those funny things where sometimes it takes you years to figure out what the unit or the hero is actually saying. Oh, by the way, nice escape in the Moonwell here. SyDe doesn't find a Wisp kill yet. Might get another one, though. No, he went Aura first, actually, to escape the Demon Hunter, so no coil kills.
Yeah, a little bit of free healing, movement speed, and not having to deal with an empty mana depleted DK. You know, that that really only gets one coil off. It's a funny question, actually. Night Elf, should you mana burn a hero with no spells, like the DK? The answer is no if you're taking a big ghoul rush to the face, but it's yes if your demon does not get hurt, because it's the combination of taking damage and losing mana, that's what costs you Moonwell juice. Just losing mana while not taking damage is not a problem because you're not going to right-click your Moonwell. Not everyone may know this, but mana on a unit is 4 times as expensive to heal as a Moonwell than health. And there's no way to prioritize which one gets healed first.
Right,
he doesn't
now
have damage, so he doesn't care about the mana burns.
Yeah, that's true. Very cool creeping path, by the way. Eating his way through is the Ancient of War, now going for the Mercenary Camp. Items-wise, let's see. Infamous Neutron Luck, I would say. Strikes again a little bit here. Boots. Claws of Attack looking good. Wand of Mana Sealing is really strong against undeads, especially when you already have the mana burn, so you're making sure that really no enemy hero is ever going to cast a single spell. Now we see SyDe, though, going for round 2. This time, he's not alone. The DK brought some friends. Gets 1 to detonate. Let's see what else he can achieve. And we've seen this before in the previous game on Twisted Meadows. How much of a lumber shortage Neutron was suffering because of these attacks.
Yeah, and you know, his own drop in macro sometimes, an emphasis on unit production. This is a nice harass by SyDe. He's got 1 wisp already. There goes a detonate. And he's pressuring more and more. Going for gargoyles once again, this time without a cancel and delay on his graveyard.
Yep.
So these gargs are coming out prano.
Definitely much faster than last time. Oh, is he gonna... he messed up the body block against the ghoul that was so nicely slowed by the Naga. And now the DK is saving his little vassal there. His unrelated...
The ghoul is not out of the woods yet.
Demon Huntress is very fast.
Demon Huntress.
Yeah. Actually
Very
paid
good.
attention this time.
Yeah, very good. We have a shade out for SyDe.
That's really
No
good.
fast tier 3, no fast lich. Gargs and shade. Really embracing the macro, the creep jacks, and the map control style. We have no lores coming out yet for Neytpoh. No attack upgrades on archers. In fact, not really progressing at all. And finally, here is the decision by Neytpoh where he wants to go. Tree of Life at the 6 o'clock.
There he goes. Expansion on the way, guys. But this time around, SyDe's gargoyle count is looking very strong. And he's double producing, of course, out of those crypts. No hero, because otherwise he couldn't afford these Garg numbers. Scouting is immaculate, really strong with that early shade. I like it. And I think he's also adapting to what Neutron was doing earlier with these constant invis scouts of the DK. Just making sure that you limit his map vision a little bit and you can punish these early moves by the Demon Hunter as well, of course. So, really cute little detail that he added to it. But we're going to have to talk about the level 1 DK at this point, Grubby.
Okay, let's talk about it. Where do you want to start? It all started when she was born, and
she was not the chosen one.
No, not the chosen one to go creep. That went to the Lich. Yeah, just standing in base really to do a little bit of healing while putting all of his attention on the gargoyle harass, killing another wisp, chasing another to its death.
There we go. And the one in the middle goes down. So. Really, this DK is probably the laziest hero I've seen for the Undeads ever. Just leeching off the passive XP granted by these gargoyles, letting others do the dirty work.
Being a Baroness leads to a lot of perks. One of them is you don't have to do your own dirty work.
Yeah, and she
you get
certainly
to command an army of Gargs.
Yeah, she certainly used that free XP, that free money for a couple of surgeries, plastic surgeries. You can see it here. Living that luxurious lifestyle, not doing much, just looking good.
She used to be even less comely.
That's true. All right, guys. Finally, she's moving out, though. The lazy Baroness. She's finally getting to work. Finding another wisp. Getting closer to level 2 now. But really, SyDe, he's basically trying to make up for the lack of XP and the lack of creeping that he was able to do by constantly harassing and damaging Neutron's wisp count. So far, that didn't work out too well if you look at the income. 350 lumber. That's still a healthy amount, I would say. And, of course, wisps with double base are very cheap to reproduce. And speaking of the second base, Tree of Life is currently on the way. And finally, Neutron is here to take it. But the Shade, of course, sees it all.
You could do a little bit of blocking on the tree as well to delay the point where it roots if he's very aware with the shade. Demon Hunter in vain looking for where the Death Knight is. Some smart movement by SyDe. He actually moved on the natural at the 4 o'clock position, but there was a wisp. And the Demon Hunter was unable to keep up with where the Death Knight has gone to now. Counter expansion once again by SyDe. Acolyte coming in position. Sacrificial Skull there. With the Naga getting the Ogre Mage now, the item will be a Ring of Regeneration. Not bad on the Demon Hunter.
Yeah, not bad indeed. So far, the Demon Hunter wasn't even threatened that much, but of course, it's
Shade
really...
block? No shade block. Sorry, yeah.
Didn't get
the
it.
Demon Hunter hasn't been threatened yet, true?
Yeah, hasn't been threatened yet, so might as well just sell it, because I think so far, such a comfortable lead in terms of hero levels. I don't think he has to worry about them getting sniped anytime soon.
It's gonna happen someday. and he's
Just
got
the moment you sell it.
No, but like it's such an ongoing effect. Like he takes the Ring of Regen, now he's already hurt. Look at that health. Just look at it and just be like,
over the course
wow.
of time, it really helps you save moon juice as well.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it'll get a healing potion's worth in like a minute or two, and that's just a small part of the game. I think it's one of the most underrated items. Gargs in the meantime have cancelled Ancient of Wonders a number of times, 2 at least. That has delayed Orb of Venom. Finally, it's finishing. Garg's going for it. Will it finish? That's a big chunk of damage before it finished.
Oh,
he could try to gun it down.
Yeah, with a little bit of stutter stepping, I think he can do it.
Wow.
Doesn't want to risk it though. The Troll Berserkers and the Archers, by the way, already in position. And I love the addition of Troll Berserkers, honestly, in this matchup. They're a little bit beefier than Archers, while also dealing tremendous damage. That is a target. Right-click on the Gargoyle, and with that Berserker that we just highlighted so much, it falls down to the ground.
But yeah, I agree with you. Berserkers offer a little bit of a backbone to the army. And meanwhile, though, Neytpoh found a weakness in the defenses of SyDe. We'll be cancelling the gold mine. This is a massive delay for SyDe, who was supposed to match income with Neytpoh with only 30 seconds delay. Will now be suffering at least another minute of delay compared to when Neytpoh is mining. But Neytpoh, basic army once again. Mass archers, attack upgrades, tier 3 Orb of Venom. We don't have area of effect damage besides the Naga, and we don't have Hippogriffs, and we don't have Roar. We really have Neytpoh in the Stone Age here, and SyDe has helped craft that scenario.
Yeah. Oh, that is a really good point, by the way, Shandathi, highlighting the fact that there is a little bit of a boo-boo in my overlay. I'm going to fix that real quick. Feel free to go ahead.
So as we take care of that, we see that the Naga is being attempted to put some pressure, maybe get the other Goblin Shop to get level 3. And then SyDe is waiting for his expansion to come up. Level 2.9 DK, still at tier 2, getting Gargoyle upgrades. 2-0 already, while working on a Carapace upgrade. That'll tell you enough about his playstyle this game. It's going to be Gargs all game long in a style that is reminiscent of his countrymate's style, Krav, who is famous in the Reign of Chaos scene. It's 3-3 Gargs with Shade into Frostworms with Frozen Breath and Infinity Harass. Low hero levels at first, but eventually something snaps in the elf. And you can do some creep somewhere as they kind of get driven crazy.
That's
Good
really cool.
defenses are important though for it, so look at all these cigarettes.
What I really like about Neutron's base defense here is it really showcases what good players, very good players can do. Normal players, I would have said, they probably would have built APs to protect themselves against the gargoyles. But those, of course, take time to build, and they're also more expensive. So Neutron instead, because of his good micro, he's basically just splitting the army, you know, sending a couple of archers back to defend the expansion, but also has, of course, the ability to then reunite his army and use them aggressively. So it's really nice, this multitasking. But now, I think he took all the forces with him, and this entangled gold mine here in the bottom left wasn't even repaired. So this one eventually is going to go down. Huge damage spells, though, coming onto those poor archers. Lich level 1 only, though. If that was a level 3 Lich, that would have gone mighty differently.
Gold mine dropped. Wisps have been exposed. That's 8 wisps. Hunting season is open. Now it's 7. Going to 6. Are we going 5? We've got 5 for the Red Undead.
It's actually a bloodbath if wisps had blood. You know, it's not even funny.
No, they don't. So it's just like, I don't know, what happens when a wisp disintegrates? Is it like extra? Is it like bad for the ozone layer if a wisp detonates?
Certainly can't be that good for the Night Elven world. Somewhere.
Is SyDe causing global warming with his Gargs?
Maybe that's true. Anyways, though, I think Neutron, he's lost a lot of stuff right now. I was praising his multitasking before, but now he seems to be crumbling under the pressure that SyDe is applying onto him. DK this time, not losing him, using the TP in time. And now we have reached this point. Lich, by the way, one more auto attack from the Troll Priest is not going to be enough, though, to take him down. But Grubby, look at the income once again. This has really crippled Neutron's lumber income. He has to reproduce a lot of wisp right now.
I've seen how this story ends, and it's not well, usually, for the Night Elf. Without the APs, that would have been a big investment. Gargs have been able to run rampant. They haven't started to crack their teeth on anything fortified yet, like a Moonwell or a Tree of Life.
True.
Really, this squad, this amount of specific Gargs with 2 attack upgrades is exactly enough to one-shot a Wisp. That's why it's 8, right? Yeah. That's why it's 8 Gargs with 2 attack. This is the Wisp killing squad. You can't lose one without needing to replace it to achieve the same thing. And it looks like SyDe will actually lose one now. What's Zephyr? Oh!
Zephyr in the top left. It actually didn't kill the expansion. Neutron saw it and canceled it. So good. Such lightning reflexes, really.
And it didn't even kill the Wisp, because the Wisp spawns at the center of the Tree of Life and the Sapper exploded at the edge. That was really sick reflexes.
That is not easy. That certainly, when there's so much stuff going on and you're microing and multitasking against the gargoyles, to have the time to see this, whether it was luck or actually well planned out, doesn't matter, because it saved him so much resources and so much time. Great stuff. This time, the heroes interrupted once again, so no third base, while the second base, by the way, is still not fully mining. Only now is the 5th wisp coming in. So ultimately, I would say, look at SyDe's bank, man. 1,200 gold. A decent number of lumber.
Yeah, he's at tier 3. He's got triple crypt.
Yeah.
Frenzy coming mostly for lumber mining, to be honest. No boneyard yet, but it will be put down quickly and soon. 2-1 upgrades. Really, the goal here is not to take a single fight until you're 80 pop with 3/3 Gargs and Frostworms. So we are still very far away from the end run. Neytpoh is using this time to level up his Demon and Naga, but I really feel like it's a mistake not to get a 3rd hero that can deal with air.
Yeah.
I've played against this, and I've only beat it once when Kraft played it, and that was when I made a Panda 3rd. Naga alone is not enough to defeat a Locust swarm of Gargs.
Yeah. Pandaren Brewmaster could indeed be that one hero that really tips it off and back into the Night Elven's favor.
Oh, it is ghouls. It is not the Frostworm style. An earlier timing is desired by SyDe. He's going for ghouls, attack upgrade, and he says, you don't have that area of effect hero yet. You're still very basic. Archers. Ghouls is what I want to go for now. With Fork Lightning and no Mountain Giants and no Bears, you can't actually stop 12 plus ghouls. 2 heal scrolls, bunch of ghouls, and he wants to reset the army count of Neytpoh. But he needs to micro well. We're getting to that point where Demon Hunter could get level 6 if he feeds too many units for free.
Yeah, and keep in mind, guys, that all these undead units, if not taken well care of, they're going to die like flies. Ghouls with that late game focus fire by all these buffed up archers. And the Forked Lightning, of course, can't forget about that. They're all going to feed into this potentially soon to be level 5, level 6 Demon Hunter, and then things get really ugly. So also, I like what Neutron is doing, going for this infamous mass-based style on Twisted Meadows, leaving 4 archers in the bottom left corner against the gargoyle attacks, and leaving 1, 2, 3, 4 archers in a berserker in his main base, Grubby.
Crypt Lord comes in, gets an impale. 1 archer will go down, second one, third one against 1 ghoul. Nice result for SyDe. He now needs to use his newfound map control for the first time. Really having map control, not just a harassing squad of Gargs, to creep some serious creeps. Demon almost can't creep anymore. Level 5 has the cap from creeps, but SyDe still has so much to live for, and we count 5 red and orange camps in the bottom right quadrant of the map, not counting the island. And he wants to get as many of them, going straight for the most valuable one, the red spot.
Here we go. Needs a big item. The more auras he has in his possession, the better. with this many individual units all benefiting off an aura, that would really be good. Of course, he wouldn't say no to some hero buffs as well, but really his army, I think, needs to be buffed up a little bit. Finds a Ring of Protection +5.
There are actually no aura items.
Oh, there are no aura items in this spot.
Yeah, this
I'm
is like a weird high-level permanent item that mostly buffs a single hero.
Yeah.
Amulet of Spell Shield, 300 mana item, 300 health item, Ring of Protection +5.
Staff of Silence.
Orb of Darkness, Staff of Silence. I may have missed one. But yeah, it's a high-level item, but not super fantastic.
Yeah.
Ring of Protection also not being very impressive.
Yeah, it's okay on the Crypt Lord, especially while he's in the lower levels, to not make him as susceptible to getting sniped all the time. Now, actually, with his W, of course, has super good resilience to damage now, +8 armor.
Yeah, physical attacks are supposed to be focused now on the Crypt Lord. Archers will still focus him down fairly quickly with Acid Bomb and the type of attack damage that they have, but he should not be the target. Goblin Shredder under attack in the main base of Neytpoh, and he's only just got it.
That's an expensive investment here, and he really tried to save it by sending the Wisps out. Now, one dies, of course, for that save attempt, and the Entangled Goldmine Grubby is not looking that healthy anymore, is it? And really, I gotta say, this is looking better and better for SyDe. Compare this to, let's say, Happy playing against this with Classic Fiends.
Oh, ambush of the ghouls against the archers. One ghoul goes down, second ghoul goes down.
That is a slaughter right there.
2 for 2. 2 archers, 2 ghouls. A fair trade. And in the meantime, Demon Hunter cancelled the Goldmine plus Necropolis expansion in the top left of the map. But this leaves Neytpoh's Tree of Life dangerously exposed. And his shop, remember, is in the middle of his 2 bases. He cannot do a quick town portal buy and make it to this Tree of Life. Naga is going to go get a TP from the Goblin shop. That means this tree that was actually fairly smartly positioned will get taken down. This was unexpected. It was worth the gamble, worth the risk by Neytpoh to try and build it there, but it is down, and now he's trying to make one again to the 9 o'clock position of the map.
Yeah, by the way, really good multitasking now from SyDe as well, you know, making sure that as many of his bases go through as possible. Now the Demon Hunter, though, that's a whole different beast. So close to level 5 is Painkiller, really strong. But what I was trying to say earlier, Grubby, is that I like this style that SyDe is playing. It's very fast, right? With the gargoyles cutting corners, the ghouls on frenzy, just being so fast to rotate. Imagine if this was a classic undead style with fiends. First of all, you wouldn't have enough damage against buildings, and you would be much slower on the map.
True. Yeah, like you said, Happy style actually struggles with this kind of time buying. It does great in fights, but not very good against mass trees. So SyDe picked the right build to go up against Neytpoh here.
Oh boy, all these Wisps are gonna die if there's no savior to really help them out here. The Demon Hunter going in, so is the army with the Naga. Drops the Forked Lightning, only hits one ghoul though, the others were too far away already. And this is shaping out to be an all-out map rotation fight really that we see right now.
An archer that was left behind at the expansion actually got killed by acolytes. The cult has now turned on a new arrival, the Forest Troll Berserker, that will get the cancel on the Goldmine though.
Oh, they got the expansion, but now he's going to have to die for his crime. These acolytes are mad AF, and they're going to take down the mercenary in time before...
Cool.
So good. Still worth it, though. That troll basically fulfilled his purpose.
Demon Hunter level 5. The Gargs died. One Garg died to the 3 archers at the expansion. Yeah. But the fact is, SyDe is making 2 expansions at the same time, which are getting cancelled phenomenally well by Neytpoh. In the meantime, Neytpoh has likewise not been able to expand to a 3rd location. They're now both mining from one base with the exact same gold content in both of the bases.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I think in the long run, though, I'm a little bit worried when it comes to looking at SyDe's progress on the map, because these Night Elven heroes are starting to look really scary, don't they?
Yeah, and they are the win condition for Neytpoh because his units are so basic, whereas the win condition for SyDe is his bigger and more advanced army. We have 2-1 upgraded abominations and ghouls. We have we have statues. We have gargoyles still on the map. And Neytpoh pretty much just has archers. So
Yeah.
if he's going to win, it's going to be with hero assassination. He cannot just fork lightning abominations like 5 times. That's not a win condition. He needs to go for the Lich. He needs to go for the Crypt Lord. So I would love to see SyDe get some potions of invulnerability. His only weakness now being the vulnerability of his heroes.
Yeah, very true. Lost an archer there to the creep, neutron that is. That happens sometimes when the game is this branched out, you know, in all different directions, and you have to save your base, look at your expansions, look out for the enemies, so can't really blame him too much. Yeah, hero levels though for SyDe, it's starting to get there. Level 3 Crypt Lord, very strong with those stuns against the archers, and if those impales land, those ghouls are going to shred them to pieces, so I think more responsibilities than many people would think lies on that Crypt Lord, despite being the quote-unquote weakest hero right now in SyDe's arsenal.
Yeah, Crypt Lord is actually key for dealing with archers because they are such glass cannons. Impale actually is a high source of damage.
Yeah.
And they actually shut down some of the damage from the archers. But it's not easy to get the flank while the demon is there to mana burn you. In fact, even if Crypt Lord was full mana now, or near full, mana burn could still stop him from casting a single impale. If he's almost full, because we have a minus 150 mana burn on a relatively small Crypt Lord mana pool. Oh my god, the Ancient Protector actually stopped the expansion top left, and now Demon Hunter is stopping the expansion by SyDe once again.
Wow.
He can't catch a new base.
Yeah, it really seems like the heroes at this point in the game, with their crazy levels and strong performance in damage numbers, they're dealing more damage than the gargoyles. The gargoyles, sure, they can kill an entangled goldmine and a wisp here and there, but they won't. Yeah, here comes a fight now. This is really where SyDe wants to just ram his forces into the backline of the Night Elf. Strong impale on 3 archers. They're all going to die. Actually saving 1 or 2 with a healing scroll. They're looking pretty good, but the ghouls are so fast. The A-bombs lurking a little bit behind there. Healing spray comes through as well. Another impale on 3 heroes at the same time. That was potentially an MVP spell for SyDe if he can use the momentum to deal even more damage onto it. But I think I heard a Lich die, and that is bad news. No more Orb of Corruption, no more armor reduction, and it looks like archers have died left and right, but the heroes are still looking strong.
Yeah. Oh, nice around there with the ghouls on the Demon Hunter. Is fairly tanky though. Boom, Frost, Fork Lightning, taking down 3 ghouls pronto. Heal Spray is trying to keep things alive, but these archers are being hunted down like the dogs they are, as abominations are slaying them with 2 attack upgrades. And Disease Cloud. The win condition, though, is as it was, as described by Neytpoh. Try to focus down heroes, and he's having a go at the Crypt Lord. Focus the TP on the Crypt Lord by the DK, and he will make his way out of here. 65 food SyDe, 43 by Neytpoh. And as good as the start was of that fight, decent losses by SyDe, actually, eventually.
That impale was so good, hitting all 3 heroes at the same time, but it just wasn't enough, really. These archers are nice kills, don't get me wrong, but you could really see how the Naga in particular, I felt like, became the real carry of this combat. When she was dropping Fork Lightning after Fork Lightning, those ghouls were dropping left, right, and center. And thanks to the item build that she has, thanks to these beautiful mana-enhancing items, 250 mana from the Pendant of Mana is so good. She's gonna shoot lightnings until there is no tomorrow. 760 max mana with a Sobi mask on top of it.
Yeah, crazy. He can cast so many Fork Lightnings. And if his life is ever threatened, he can reskill to Mana Shield. But unlikely. 47 food, 3-0 attack archers coming. He didn't upgrade armor. He didn't bother because mostly he felt like it's going to be spell damage that takes him down.
That's what he needs right now.
Finally up for both players. It's of course their second mining base. Lich is coming back, 85% of the way there.
I love the addition of the Ogre Mauler and even a Combat Shredder. Doesn't have to use it for lumber. He's sitting very comfortably at almost 1,000 wood. So instead, he's going to use the Shredder as a front-lining unit, and oftentimes they're a little bit underrated, you know, especially against ghouls with a heavy armor and some strong damage. 61 max damage. It definitely helps keeping the archers safe.
Meanwhile, 5 Gargs and a Ghoul going to town on the 3rd haunted gold mine. The 2nd haunted gold mine, actually, in the top left of the map. They nearly got it. Doesn't look like Neytpoh's paying it much attention, which means he will also lose all of the wisps. But the fight breaks out. Bigger things to worry about. He TPs out of this fight, kills the gold mine, loses only a single archer, and will kill all of the Gargs almost.
Oh my
4
god.
Gargs and a Ghoul murdered. And he didn't lose a single wisp. This was a good trade for Neytpoh.
Absolutely. And unlike the Undead mine, the Undead gold mine, the Entangled one will come back. So
It's free.
it's free. Temporary damage against everlasting damage. SyDe is going to have to invest gold all the time, you know, while the Night Elf is just rebuilding so much more efficiently. More Ring of Protections coming through.
Might as well just put it on the Lich. Like, he's putting it on the Crypt Lord
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's a habit.
Yeah. The
And,
Lich died
of
last
course-
fight.
Yeah. You know, armor on high health is essentially min-maxing the value of effective health. But might as well just put it on the Lich, to be honest.
Agree. Nice stun here. I don't think the demon is going to die, though. Uses the staff early instead of using the invul first. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, you'll just get impaled again. There'll be a mana potion. He will impale and he'll be dead.
True. Very good point. So cooldown management, well done by SyDe, realizing what was going on here. Here comes... I really like... I'm starting to think that SyDe's army is very dangerous with these A-bombs right now. Replacing more and more ghouls with more beefy units. Dangerous...
Staff of Preservation on the floor! Staff of Preservation on the floor. SyDe could actually steal it.
Oh!
He gets it! He can staff the DK! He does it!
He's gonna say, thank you, yoink my staff now, and uses it to great effect. He always wanted to do that. The stun comes through, and guess who doesn't have a staff right now? It is the Demon Hunter who goes
16
down.
armor,
Main
Crypt
hero
Lord.
against maybe the Crypt Lord. Heroes are falling left, right, and center, and we're very close. Oh my god, that last second coil keeps the Lich alive as well. We're very close to the tavern, so the Demon Hunter should be back within a split second here. There he goes, on the chase. Level 6, by the way.
On the Naga! She has no mana shields. One hit and she's dead.
Oh,
not from the
micros
staff.
her away, though, so I think she's safe right now. In the meantime, the Lich is getting chased. No more mana on the DK for another coil, I believe. Yes, that's true. But now the Nova saving that fight once again. Crazy stuff happening, Grubby. Everywhere needs to be watched.
Abominations were trying to rend and tear the Naga Sea Witch apart, but they weren't quick enough. Didn't have the Unholy Aura. And the archers are actually getting smacked around by the Seas Cloud. Just one Nova would really set them straight, sort them out real good. But in the meantime, Demon Hunter, level 5.8.
Oh, the Shredder is going to fall here as well.
Soul Acolyte.
Yeah, both heroes, both players really are just farming workers. I wonder how much of their XP total was contributed by Acolytes and Wisps. Probably a whole bunch.
All of it.
Nice heal spray, replenishing some health for Neutron. Level 6 is so close, by the way, for the Demon Hunter. That could really be the make or break. But in the meantime, with consistent feeding into SyDe's mouth by these archers, I think the hero levels are looking good now. 4.7 for the Lich, 4.3 for the Crypt Lord. He's getting there.
Yeah, he's getting there. Crypt Lord did, of course, die. He killed the demon for it, but it was rebought from the tavern. This is more expensive, but it was necessary for Neytpoh. SyDe finally has his base again. Not fully mining yet, and he's not going to either, because mining fully would actually cost him money. It would push him over upkeep. He's only going to saturate this gold mine once he's also ready to make more units. Demon Hunter comes in for an easy mana burn, but good positioning by SyDe.
Yeah. So cool to see how both players are just paying attention to such details, you know, blocking units to save others, blocking enemy heroes, preventing them from getting close, from mana burning. It's just really quite the pleasure, and I think this is probably one of the best games that I've personally watched and casted in Fight Night history. Chimera Roost, Grubby. Double Chimeras coming in the 9 o'clock position.
Nice. All right. Chimera can get Coil Nova. They don't get impaled. There are no Gargs, but there are still really good upgrades for Gargs. So the moment SyDe catches wind of this, it's oh, by the way, Fork Lightning will insta-kill 3 Acolytes.
Yeah, and that's what he's trying to do right now. SyDe is spreading, though. Only one Acolyte got hit, really minimizing his losses there. So well played. He's still going to lose more, perhaps? No, actually, great Nerubian tower focus as well on the Naga, so she can't even chase.
Of course, Demon, you cannot slow both, and Evasion has a chance to dodge a Nerubian.
Yep.
So it's actually just going to save 3 out of those 5. But look at this. Tree of Lives everywhere.
Indeed, everywhere. But of course, SyDe has strong countermeasure, a lot of damage, and those are called Abominations. Look how they're hacking that down, chopping it down with their cleavers, and I think Neutron cannot save this one. However, look at the heroes. Neutron's Naga and the Demon Hunter both almost sharing exactly the same XP.
Hey, fun fact, that Tree of Life died to slapping the Crypt Lord.
Oh,
Never seen
nice.
that before. Yeah.
With the continuous armor? That's cool.
Yeah, chitinous armor. And I've never ever seen that before. It looked like SyDe was actually miscalculating, but he got worried about his acolytes. And the tree, one more swipe. If he had actually force made a wisp. Oh,
the Naga!
Naga!
Ah!
Oh, 13 life!
Neutron the Legend saves her with what looked like 1 HP, and now of course has a TP himself to get out of harm's way. Oh my goodness, level 6 is so close. The Night Elves, they're just racing to those ultimates, and they could really make all the difference. Well, not for the Naga, obviously, because nobody cares about the Cyclone, but...
Bro, what did you just say? Tornado kicks up a storm, man.
At least they fixed the animation, so that would be a first step into the right direction.
I mean, it's classic. Tornado
It's
always
classic,
looks
okay,
great.
we wouldn't care. Who plays in
should actually
Reforged graphics these days?
Maybe some people. But he should actually give the Pendant of Mana to the Alchemist to get more cheap healing. But didn't do it. Will he do it now? Nah. He doesn't want to bother with that. He doesn't want to be caught unawares. Now, meantime, 77 food. Nightelf side. Neytpoh really turned the game in his favor with level 6 so close.
Oh
nice
boy.
Impale.
Catching the Alchemist in the open. Abomination surround almost happening here, but of course Staff is at the ready. By the way, keep in mind, guys, SyDe still have a Staff too. He still has one. It's on the Lich.
Yeah, that's really cool. So that means if he ever gets to have a TP, it should actually be on the Lich, so that you can staff something out and not have the rest. Like, you don't want to staff out a hero that has TP, you know what I mean?
True. By the way, I love the precaution by SyDe to have a mana pot on every hero, just in case. Because the demon is going to do his dirty work. And just in case you ever need an emergency coil to save someone, you can always just pop the bottle, pop that mana potion, and then send it over. So this is really good item management by the Undead player.
Talon army, by the way, he didn't upgrade them, which means they're pretty much Coil Nova and Impale bait, but he wanted a bit of inner fire. Kind of cool. Would love to see him upgrade them, though. Cyclone is very powerful at this stage in the game. The Shade sees all this, and he decides to pull back his abominations because he wants to be agile. In the case of a TP, he saw the grouping up of the Night Elven army, even though there is no TP there right now.
This is watching two Grandmaster chess players really fighting over every square on the board. Who's going to make that first big mistake?
Love games like this.
Yeah.
Meatwagon was produced for Disease Clouds and Talons. He has seen the Chimera with his Shade. And yet we do not see Gargs because he doesn't have the income to support it. Sapper on the tree, boom!
Down it goes. Wow. Here we go. That was another surgical strike by the Undead player by SyDe. Looking really good. I think I heard some Destroyers morph. Maybe. Yeah,
that's true. That's how he's gonna try to counter the Chimera instead of Gargs, which are a little bit more fragile. It also allows him to remove Fairy Fire. Oh god, Demon Hunter level 6.
Demon Hunter level 6. He's got the guns, he's got the metamorphosis, and he's not afraid to use it. Let's see when that's going to happen, though. Uses it right off the bat because he probably realized that SyDe doesn't have a TP, so he just can't really just peace out of that fight and wait until the ulti expires. No, he's here to chase those A-bombs down, and he doesn't even need the metamorphosis. I mean, these chimeras are just going to eat them for breakfast anyways.
No tornado! No. I'm so sad. He went for Frost Arrow. Okay.
Fair enough, of course. Maybe. I don't even think he would pick it at level 8 and 7. Probably go Mana Shield.
You go Tornado at level 10 as you're supposed to. You first get triple Mana Shield.
Alright, here we go, guys. This Night Elf army is here to stay, taking out another expansion. In the meantime, though, SyDe with a counterattack. Launches it at the most fortified expansion, but the Tree of Eternity sitting at 50% HP. It wasn't fully repaired back, so now with some heroes in the A-bombs, but they were too slow, actually. I think the army was getting separated too much. And here goes the staff.
Oh, clever. He always does this. The Staff of Prez into TP. It's cool because you get 1 mana burn before they actually get to run for real. Now, SyDe has no income. He wasn't able to expand anywhere.
True.
Pretty much this final fight is what it's going to be about. But Everyone is getting mana burns. It's just painful to see.
Crazy. He still has mana pots on DK and Crypt Lord, of course, but that is really just one spell, and that's it. Then you're going to be out of mana again from the Demon Hunter. And I think, like, the longer the game goes, the more Neutron is going to choke him out. One more Zapper coming through. Neutron sees it.
That was his last money.
Yeah.
Like, that Zapper was his last hope. Like, SyDe actually cannot win anymore. It's just... He's not mining. Neytpoh will keep throwing up trees from time to time.
Heroes are vastly inferior.
Yeah. And actually, Metamorphosis is not available, but it will be in a minute. So the longer that SyDe waits... I mean, he needs the mana, it feels like, but the longer he waits, the less chance he has to win.
Yeah. The Night Elven bases are just going to spread like a disease. Trees everywhere. We don't want that. So he needs to make a move relatively soon. Otherwise, there's going to be expansions for Neutron, and even if he were to trade unfavorably, he would just be able to reproduce, while every unit and every hero that SyDe loses will stay dead permanently.
Yep. That's true. No necromancers to bring them back.
Even has some talents in the mix right now, Neutron that is, and why not, you know? It's additional
He's getting
vision.
master training, finally. It's 40% of the way there, which will give him Cyclone.
All right, SyDe is moving out. He realized that this is his time to shine. Level 6 on the DK, almost there, but doesn't even matter. The the DK level 6 is no game changer. It's no team fight. It's no fight winner, unlike the Demon Hunter.
I mean, you can get 6 archers without attack upgrades.
Yeah, cool story. It's not gonna work, sadly.
Okay, here we go. Pushed into a corner.
Yep. Needs to reorganize the army. A-bombs in front. But where's this? He has vision with that shade. That's good.
And he's trying to stay outside of ultra vision range. And I think he has succeeded in doing so far. But now Neytpoh has seen him. A few units turn around first. That's a big impale. Boom with the Nova. Nothing dead yet.
Yeah, that was a good initiation to that fight. But now the Chimeras are crackling in their lightning damage, really. The lightning, the fork lightning, speaking of which, it's a synergy between these lightning beams, really. We see them die everywhere, archers that is, but on the same flip side, we see A-bombs getting absolutely melted by these Chimeras. One undead unit after the other is dying. The hero's Metamorphosis Painkiller reigns supreme and watches his minions just deal with these undead forces like there was no tomorrow. And I think now it is time to say goodbye to this base. So much damage on the Lich as well. Cyclone in the mix right now. DK no longer a factor. No more healing. Level 5 Lich though. Mana burn goes down. And so does the Lich. GG SyDe has to bow to the economical might and the multitasking skills of Neutron, who's now taking the lead, Grubby. He's done it 3 games in a row. Like you said, the momentum is starting to kick in for the Russian player.
What an absolutely good game. 42 minutes of macro. We see so many different base attempts, at least 10 by both players. That should tell you enough. Classical Twisted Meadows. Players are being tested in ways that they aren't on a map like Amazonia or Echo Isles. They both have chops. It was very close, but Neytpoh is the one that will bring this to a positive match point for himself. Can SyDe win 2 in a row, or will Neytpoh close it out in our first Fight Night Best of 7?
Oh, it's so good. Those games, it didn't even feel like a Warcraft 3 game. It felt like a StarCraft game, really, with so many units moving around, so many expansions being built everywhere. That was a true pleasure, and you don't get to see these games very often. But let me tell you, when you see them, when you're watching Fight Night and you see 2 players on the same skill level just duking it out in epic matches. So feel free, guys, to follow the channel here, to check out our YouTube, !YouTube on Twitch chat, and you're going to be forwarded to that very channel. There's great content there. Grubby has recently been hopping on the train and delivered a fantastic guide about expanding and decision making there. There's other content like replay casts, and we even had SyDe being featured on a video as well, so more to come in the future, and we would love to welcome you there. But even if you follow our Twitch channel, you know, there's more Fight Nights coming. We're just getting started.
Just so, that's right. And we still have this Fight Night here. We do one Fight Night every 2 weeks.
True.
Next one will be in 2 weeks. Whoever wins here gets $200 and gets to fight again. And you've heard Kendric speak a bit about the bounty. The bounty gets a portion of the proceeds, a large portion of the cheers that are done on this channel, the Twitch cheer bits. And that bounty has never yet been claimed. Why, you may wonder?
Yeah.
Well, it would need a player to hear his next opponent and then say, no, thank you. I quit. Go ahead and find 2 new players. I take the bounty and run, and I don't try to win anymore. So far, every player has believed in their own victories or has had too much pride to walk away with the bounty. Maybe that's because we've never brought out Happy yet, the Emperor of Undead. But so far, no one has quit yet. But that bounty will eventually go make one of the players very happy.
Grubby. Noble countrymen, evil is upon us. Darkness has befalling our shores. Rise and slay thy enemies. Strike, strike, so others shall live. The meek shall not fade into the night. Live, my brethren, live. Who said these words?
King Tyrannus. Beautiful.
Very true. We're going to Tyrannus stand, guys.
I recognize the blurb of Tyrannus stand. Beautiful, poetic words before what is potentially the final game. I'm pretty hungry. I'm gonna munch quickly on this meat jerky.
Absolutely. We can actually... okay, the players say ready, so you go and munch.
I'll just mute for a minute because I really need this.
I can
It's a long
see
match.
It's a long match, that's true. And nothing is worse than the torture of seeing yummy food before you and you're unable to actually eat it. So we don't want to torture Grubby. We need him. We need him for up and coming fight nights, and we need him for everything he does on the Warcraft 3 Twitch scene. So let the man have his jerky. In the meantime, guys, final game potentially, question mark. Let's see if Neutron says, yes, I want to go to bed, and I want to take this title home with me. I want to reclaim my title of Fight Night Champion, because if you didn't know, if you just tuned in at a later time to Heroes Hearth Warcraft 3, Neutron has already been a champion before. He was, next to Hitman, the only player currently revived and brought back from slumber, if you will. So he had a good streak, 3-1 in a row, but Hitman said, that's not good enough, bro. I take 4. And he is currently the longest lasting champion. And Neutron was a little bit upset about it. He dethroned him single-handedly himself and is now here to form another legacy. But SyDe, of course, has something against that. He says, I won the first 2 games. Now a little bit of a slump has happened and befallen me. But on Tyrannus stand, he's gonna try to hold it, and he's using his trait. Oh! Oh! Misclick?
Warden. Huh?
Oh, he was selecting Dreadlord, cancelled, and DK.
Changed his mind. Changed his mind. And he's against Warden first.
He's against
we
Warden.
Haven't seen this from Neytpoh yet. The third variety of starting heroes. Mostly been Demon. We've seen 1.5 Keepers, if you count the Disconnect game.
Yeah.
And we now... or is it 2.5? I think it's 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
And now is Warden coming out. Her best map, Tyrannus stand. Easy to get her to level 3 here. And do some Fan of Knives harass. Probably the more popular variation of her abilities. She has 3 really good abilities. Fan of Knives specializes in killing ghouls and acolytes, whereas Shadow Strike leads you to kind of do like noob hero focus.
Yeah.
Really cool harass here by SyDe. It's not going to be obvious exactly what he was trying to achieve here, but there's a small global spell cooldown for the Renegade Wizard that when you attack a creep and it purges your acolyte, he won't cast lightning shields immediately, even when all the conditions are satisfied. So he was actually putting more frost armor on all the creeps and delaying the lightning shield, so that this has not been crept nearly as quickly as it could have without the acolyte being there.
It takes
Good
so long.
by SyDe.
It takes so much longer now to kill these buffed creeps, really, with all that armor. So he has to spend more time creeping. He has to spend a little bit more resources repairing the tree. So this was already a quite big success here with just a little bit of an acolyte. Now, Grubby, I wanted to ask you this. Tyrannus stand is a very popular Warden map, especially against human. Now, against Orc, we all know the reasons why we don't see her that much against in this matchup. But what about Undead? What do you think about that hero here in this Undead versus Night Elf situation?
Yeah, she gets used here as well, and it's not memey, and it's not risky per se. She like in the late game, if undead heroes get too high level, she becomes pretty bad.
Yeah.
But she's the kind of hero that can really take off. Oh, wow, he's actually waking up the creeps to deal with this Ancient of War. Does not want that Ancient of War here.
Cute move.
This could be like... Yeah, I guess that was like the way for Warden to creep to level 3, get a fantastic item, and have a building in position to maybe do something against the expansion. Maybe like a future glaive thrower attack. But Warden is good against Undead as well. He's not creeping as quickly as he would have liked to, though. The Acolytes on the Merc Camp, the cancel on the Saints of War. So this is a slow Warden level 3, and that is a bit of a problem, but there's still all to play for.
Very true. Once again, a Michael style creeping here by SyDe, always using a skull, Blight Skull, to keep those units fresh and a little bit more healthy. Cool move. It's a relatively cheap item, so why not invest into it, especially when you can count on double base income relatively soon. Speaking of which, this expansion has not been harassed yet. It's completely unchallenged. So Neutron, of course, knows about this. So what is he doing instead? He's trying to creep that Warden up to level 3. I would assume he would do that.
Yeah. He's gonna probably get it from the level 111 creeps.
Yep.
Or maybe he wants to abolish one more skeleton. This would actually settle him real nicely.
Yeah.
There we go. Level 3.
There it is. Level 3.
Oh, he went for Shadow Strike. So he's looking to actually min-max killing ghouls and maybe focusing DK. He's not gonna go fan against Acolytes.
Yeah. No Blink Fan like we are used to seeing it against Human, which of course can do terrible, terrible things to worker lines and peasants. But here, like Grubby so well explained, it's more about keeping the DK low. It's more about keeping those ghouls low, so you can get free experience there. Nice reveal, by the way, with that dust preemptively. Has it in his pockets. So well done. Now the invul is popped, though, and the DK is in a little bit of trouble. Runs away from the Warden as fast as he can, but the Warden has boots. So she's basically jacked out. She's maxed out in items. He saves his units there, by the way, who are running away from a swarm of ghouls. So really cute kiting. Well, I think he's going to get the DK.
Yeah, no Acolyte blocks. He could do it. He cannot actually have enough mana for both Blink and Shadow Strike, so SyDe played this really well. You could even argue that the fact that he didn't Acolyte block was because he was brimming with confidence that he was going to get away the old-fashioned way. Just run, lol.
Yeah.
Acolyte block would have been safer, but he would have lost money. So is that a little min-max? He wanted that 40 gold? Maybe. DK is still alive. That's a lot of mana by the Warden.
Yeah. Goes into Shadow Melt, by the way, trying to buy a little bit of extra time for...
You know why? You know why? He wants him to come in and dust, and he has enough mana to blink at Shadow Strike. Okay.
The uniqueness of the map layout on Turner Stand allows you to blink over water and cover a large distance in just one spell. Really good. Force out another dust, like Grubby said. So really both players, man, trying to cut in corners as much as possible, whether it's not Acolyte blocking because you need more money, or because it's like, make the enemies waste a little bit of extra resources for that additional dust.
If SyDe had waited another like 9 seconds to use dust, Warden would have had enough mana to blink and Shadow Strike the DK, and that would have killed the DK most likely. So it was worth hiding there, even if it wasn't just to waste the dust. Ooh, Sacrificial Dagger. New item.
Yeah. Probably one of the few instances in which we actually get to see it, because only in the most desperate of times would undeads consider using this. I don't want to say the words I had in mind. This disappointing item. Let's put it this way.
A fun fact about Sacrificial Dagger: if you use it off Blight,
yeah,
every 5 seconds you spend off Blight, you've lost 4 seconds of healing of this item. So, in other words, if you're not standing on Blight while using this, you're barely better off. It does just a little bit more than Blight healing, the item.
Yeah. Might as well just buy a skull. But hey.
Yeah. But then you can't move around.
That's true. So 2 ghouls getting picked off. Free shipping right into the Warden's XP account. Very nicely done here.
I like the second crypt here. Ghouls get devastated pretty hard by Shadow Strike and Forked Lightning. It's difficult to really have a lot of staying power. It would make more sense to go for Fiends, Lich, Tier 3, and Orb, I think. But SyDe obviously is the creative genius.
Yep. By the way, this Warden sticks to the DK like glue. And while normally this would be a pleasant thing, In this very instance, when she's hunting you with Shadow Strikes, not so much. Yeah, and of course can't be surrounded. Even if the ghouls were to succeed here with the units around, she could just blink out to safety. So really, I think this Warden is accomplishing so much. Keeping SyDe at a healthy distance, making sure the DK never has enough mana to play any significant role. And look at this. In front of SyDe's house doorstep, he's just taken away all the experience on the creeps.
He's got so much mana on the Warden, which is why he's so effective. That Naga instantly found Pendant of Energy.
Oh boy.
And he gave it to the Warden, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, she keeps throwing out those Shadow Strikes like there was no tomorrow. And by doing so, not only if she uses it on a ghoul, she at least forces out some Death Coils. So it's almost like...
Lich is gonna die.
Oh, Lich is gonna die. 100%. There's no items. Naga slows. One more auto attack and that's it. SyDe was...
Why does it... I don't understand why he doesn't just Nova once.
Yeah.
Before dying.
Maybe he was busy elsewhere with the DK, but the DK was also posed to chase down some archers. So it's a little bit tricky of a decision-making here by SyDe. Is this long series starting to affect him? Is he going to reach his limit of what he can do?
Oh, well, Boots pass over to Naga, but sorry, this DK is a little bit too fast for that.
Yeah, he's a little bit too fast, that's true. Unholy Ground and Aura keeps him safe for now. He was actually really fast with those boots. You rarely see the DK with boots in the first place because he already has the Aura. But when he's turning in the Turbo Gear, man, is he fast.
Dryads chasing down the Death Knight. Oh, he's gonna actually TP with the Lich, give Invis, and there's no Abolish Magic. Wow, there's no dust. Oh, wait, he has Reveal! He has Reveal from the other laboratory! Boom, 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 boom. It's the 4th of July, but it's not enough. That's 150 gold.
Fireworks happening here from Neutron. He really wanted to spot that DK, but yeah, it was not meant to be. He was too fast, too furious in his escape. And
how cool is that, though? Like, staffing with an Invis to DK to save him? Super neat.
Yeah, really cute hero management here by both players. Super cool to see. Now the Warden needs to replenish a little bit of mana, so does the Sea Witch. To be able to keep applying that pressure. By the way, Grubby, double Necros. Once again.
I just saw it. I just saw it too. It's so cool.
God.
And he's got upgrades this time. Like the game on Amazonia, it was from one base. No upgrades for Skeleton. So you've got a lot, but they really only do like 10 damage a pop. And now he's going to get upgrades. 1 attack, 1 armor, 2nd attack coming in. Lots of ghouls. He's going tier 3. He's had a base for a long time. And he's going to be facing Dryads and Bears. And those really don't deal with Mass Necros very well. Hero level-wise, not too good though for SyDe. Neytpoh's in a great position and has a better setup than when he has Demon Naga dealing with this. Fan of Knives, Fork.
Is this the time maybe for Neutron to consider reskilling into Fork?
I think it's possible that he doesn't need Blink for long anymore. He could do Shadow Strike and Fan. Gotta be critical here of Neytpoh when he sometimes uses his Moonwells without dropping Pendant of Energy first. He now uses a Clarity when he only needs 4 mana. A few mistakes here. Not a big deal, really. Warden, at the end of the day, is a powerhouse now. Maybe she will retrain eventually. Because Shadow Strike and Blink does almost nothing against a big army.
And then you would have Fan of Knives plus Fork Lightning. That is actually considerable AoE. Someone in chat was highlighting earlier that Remind, the Night Elf player that I mentioned earlier, he was using Pit Lord with Rain of Fire for the triple AoE combo against, I think it was Human though, but it should work against this Undead style too.
Pit Lord 3rd?
Yeah.
To deal with casters, yeah?
With the casters, yeah, can't get coiled, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
True. Would be pretty cool. Difficult though. There's Unholy Aura. Human doesn't have this, so repositioning is easier.
Might be too late already to add a 3rd hero now.
Not a lot of creeps left to creep anymore.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I don't know how Neutron does it, but he always gets ahead significantly in terms of XP on the heroes. He just contains SyDe so well. The Lich is sitting at 2, whereas the Naga's already 4.
It's kind of just the way that the cookie crumbles. Undead needs tier 3 to be good at fighting, but when Undead fast expands, as SyDe loves and Happy never does, which is why Happy gets more creeps, you pretty much spend loads of time on tier 1 and 2, and you can never win a fight as Undead at tier 1 and 2. So it just takes him a long time to be dangerous. He's now ready to fight for any creeps remaining.
Yeah.
There's only 3, 4, 5 camps left on the map, all small, except for the Goblin Shop of Neytpoh, but he is ready to fight. We've got a really cool 2-1 attack upgraded army, 1 heal scroll only, and that's a pity for SyDe, but lots of necromancers. He's got a meat wagon with 6, 7 corpses in it. How many wisps will there be to deal with this? They are not ready yet.
Yeah.
He's got 3 in his main. There may not be enough wisps to actually deal with this.
That is true. He does have a couple of dryads, 1 mountain giant in the making as well, or actually 1 is ready, and second one in the making. No wisps currently to help this situation. So this expansion, even with wisps in the mix right now, is definitely going to fall, I think. There's too much damage, but hold my breath here. Maybe I was wrong. He's sending in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wisps to repair, while the army is trying to go for the backlane here. The Mountain Giant in a great spot, and SyDe realizes this. He cannot win on multiple fronts. Phantom Knights, by the way, we mentioned it, has now been retrained on the Warden, so great AoE potential, but the original mission was accomplished, and the second base of the Night Elf was sniped.
Yep. And how many wisps were killed? Maybe 1. Only 1 was sent. There is another base attempt at the top right. The one ghoul is actually having a bit of a go. It has 3 attack upgrades and 1 armor. It will get dealt with by these dryads. Was it just me, or did Fan of Knives look super unimpressive in that fight?
It did look unimpressive, that's true. Keep in mind, it can only hit 5 units as well, so maybe there's too many skellies at some point, so even the best... Yeah.
It's very low hero levels for SyDe, but he looked so much better in that fight. There's now 2 meat wagons. He didn't even use Unholy Frenzy in the last fight yet. He's trying to... Oh, wow. Book of the Dead attack on the bottom left. A little bit of necromancy right back at you.
Has to taste his own medicine, what it feels like to have to fight against those skellies and how they take down buildings. Oh, the Tree of Life in the top right was just finished and is now going to get cancelled and shut down by these ghouls once again. So both players just really hitting each other hardcore with these surgical strikes against the economy. And I think Grubby... Oh, look at this Warden attack, by the way.
Yeah. Good split, though.
Yep.
You only got 1 Acolyte. You need 1 fan, 1 auto attack. So if your Undead splits quickly, you can only get 1 Acolyte per fan.
Yeah, great splits. Unlike last time, though, on Twisted Meadows, I think this time it's looking much better for SyDe.
Yeah.
He has the base advantage. He has a strong-looking army. Oh, so many skellies.
The cool thing about skeletal mages, they don't die to a single detonate. And that matters. If you split them, look at them. They have 240 life, 14 to 18 piercing damage. Really not bad. And you've got so many of them. Mountain Giant getting absolutely smashed by these skeletons.
Oh my god, these reinforcements are insane! He just got rid of so many skellies. Now the Scroll of Healing is getting tremendous infinite value with all these cheap units. Unit after unit is dying for Neutron. His heroes are great, that's cool. But hey, what are you going to do without an army? The reinforcements just keep popping in. He doesn't even have enough wisps to take care of it. The undead forces are absolutely scourging the entirety of Torina Stand. And although the king said,
Cripple.
Rise and stand, it's not going to happen here this time. Cripple on the Warden. Doesn't get away even with a blink. Can be caught up too soon. But hey, SyDe doesn't care about heroes. He wants to take down those trees. What happened on Twisted Meadows shall not be repeated.
There's only one thing to say right now. If it's not going to be GG, it's Necromancer's OP. Easy. Looks pretty good here for SyDe. Neytpoh is up against it. His units are red, they're diseased, and they're demoralized because they're fighting against the very dead.
Sir, for every one we kill, there's 5 more.
Yeah. What do we do? Keep fighting. Do not go quietly into the night. Another heal scroll here for SyDe. Loads of skeletons, a barrage of them. Frost armor on the low necro, lol.
Oh my god, that shows you how much time SyDe has right now to take care of individual necromancers, because he just A-clicks with the skellies and overwhelms his opponent. Neutron taps out. Oh my god, Grubby.
Sir, the numbers are endless.
Full distance. We called it.
Full distance. Cool, cool,
Yep.
cool. Level 4-3 just beat level 5-5.
That's insane. To be honest, though, do you think a different first hero could have made a difference if he hadn't gone Warden?
Mana burn actually helps a lot to neuter the heroes of Undead. It doesn't really begin to make a scratch in Necromancers, but it does help with the heroes a bit. However, with such an early base that was uncontested by SyDe, I think you can buy a lot of mana potions. You need fewer heal scrolls because there's now no fan of knives. Instead, you get mana pots. And the demon is going to die all the same to that level of Necromancers. This is one of the few strats where Undead just has the better army than Elf. Like, if you can actually get Necro Wagon with Disease Cloud, great upgrades, not terrible heroes, and you're not fighting against like 15 Wisps, 6 Chimeras, and massive AoE like Panda level 5, which is actually more difficult to get than a Warden Naga level 5 because it starts slow. That's pretty much the dream army against Night Elf. So really cool for SyDe to do that on one of the maps that is the best defensively. Terranistan. Wouldn't work on a different map maybe, but here, perfect.
And to give you guys, you can't see it, chat users and viewers, dear viewers out there, you can't see it, but I'll give you guys a short look behind the scenes. Neutron is getting a little emotional in our Discord chat. He was not happy with how SyDe played. He said, it's stupid. He even dropped the FFS because he said SyDe was just shirtling, doesn't even creep, but still managed to win with Necros.
Yeah, but I don't like it when players do this because it is actually psychological warfare and they're supposed to be friends and teammates. And he's saying like it's ridiculous, you shouldn't be able to win. I crept the whole map. Different strengths, mate. Why do you get the whole map? It's that's Night Elf's advantage. Do more with it. Expand quicker. Make a different army. At this point, well, I'm very critical of this because you don't do that to a friend to psychologically throw them under the bus. But I guess I shouldn't be so judgmental, but that's just my opinion.
And I guess SyDe, after a win like this, probably has the thickest of hides, thickest of skins. So he will shrug it off.
You have to harden yourself to a quote-unquote friend doing this. Because if you start to feel sorry for them, because it's like, oh no, poor Night Elf cannot win with... then you'll play like worse. You're going to self-sabotage in the final game. I've seen it too often to be patient with that.
Basically, be like Mew.
But be like Mew, yeah. Like whatever people expect of you, just play your best. It's the best. I wish I could have always done that. I hope for SyDe that he can, and that we get a game based on the merits here, not the psychological warfare.
Beautiful.
This isn't boxing.
We're going to Last Refuge, guys. That is another cool thing about Best of Sevens. We get to see every map. There's no bans in this format. Only picks, so only loser choices. That's how you do the map draft here. So really cool. But we're going full distance. Last Refuge, Grubby, what is your map verdict on the map with this matchup?
It's the most neutral. That's why they left it to the end. No one is favored.
It took me some time to really get warm with Last Refuge. When it was
get warmed up to it, yeah?
Yeah, I think so too. I always confused it with Concealed Hill, when I was casting it because of the layout, gold mines on the side and stuff. And I never really found it to be super spectacular of a map, but over the course of time and watching more and more epic games on it, I think it has really grown on me. I think right now it's probably in my top 2 favorite maps to cast and watch.
Yeah, I think it is not equally balanced in every matchup, but it is one of the best crafted maps. Everything is possible. Slow game, quick game. You can dodge people, but it's not too easy to outmaneuver someone. There's not just one path to the base, there's 2, but it's not easy to navigate between them, to ping pong between them. I think it's really a well done map, and like you, I didn't like it at first as much.
Yeah,
I still don't think it is perfectly balanced. It's impossible, but it is a very fitting 7th map. Anything is possible.
Anything is possible, and that certainly goes for the players as well. Who's gonna snatch that $200 prize money? Who's gonna crown themselves champions of the Fight Night once again? Is it gonna be Neutron, the resurrected former champion, or is it going to be SyDe? It took us ages to finally have him on the show. We always thought he was too strong against some of our earlier players. At some point, he wasn't available. He was on vacation, living that ski life. But now, we finally had him. The stars aligned, and he's here. And he's showing, really, what he has in him. And SyDe is just such a cool player because he's been in the scene for a long time, Grubby. But it feels like he's reached his peak performance at the moment. A couple of weeks ago, when the Heroes Hearth Invitational took place, he dismantled Hawk, arguably one of the strongest players in Europe. And now against Neutron, many consider him to be the second strongest Night Elf in Europe past Foggy. And he's looking very strong.
Yeah, I think Foggy has more experience in this matchup. He plays this matchup, I think, quite a bit better because Foggy's gateway to major success has always been blocked by Happy.
Yeah.
Being both from the East Bloc, being both active in the international scene, Foggy gets stopped by Happy over and over again in the same matchup and has struggled to ever beat Happy. Has not yet done so, but has come very close recently. 1-2, 2-3, and so on and so forth. So I think he's very sharp there. Neytpoh hasn't had the opportunity to meet Happy as often and is a little bit more an Einzelganger with his style, going for archers, mass upgraded archers in a variety of circumstances that most players wouldn't. Foggy's more standard, always Bear Naga, but with good aggression to actually force mistakes.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Very true. So let's see. Maybe Fight Night plays its own part in helping these players to reach their next level, if you will, by just helping them, with a little bit of more dedication, more prize money that allows them to spend more time at the game. So let's see what we can do in the future to support the second guard in Europe and help them a little bit. By the way, this was Keeper, once again, chosen by Neutron. No Warden, no Demon Hunter shenanigans. He goes back to the Keeper, which I think in this series has netted him best success overall.
Yeah, it seems so. Warden the worst, anyway.
Yeah.
By the way, Acolyte just killed a Wisp. Neytpoh, I think the most problematic is when people whine for the sake of sabotaging their friend opponent. But in this case, it might have just been genuine. Insensitive.
Just like venting,
and inconsiderate, maybe, but...
Yeah.
Insensitive and inconsiderate, yes. But maybe also truly how he feels.
Yeah.
Because he's actually just lost one Wisp to an Acolyte and almost another. So... as much as I've always touted his ability to get better and better in the series as it went on, his endurance, his mental endurance, maybe it has suffered a little bit. I hope for SyDe's sake, his is very strong on point. So far we have a creep start by both. Keeper just got level 2.3. He's got a Wisp in position to eventually expand. And note the position of his Force of Nature. He's almost created a nice little cavity for the Tree of Life to be in.
Yeah.
Maybe that was deliberate.
That is true. By the way, this time he's not going to lose another Wisp. He he saw it in time. The Acolyte, by the way, still scouting, still providing useful information to SyDe. And he's going to kill another Wisp unless he saves it in the building. No, didn't detonate, didn't build a Moonwell or something, and cancel it immediately to save it. So he was maybe busy somewhere else. Not a single Huntress we've seen today, by the way, Grubby.
Yeah, Huntress really bad against Gargs and Fiends. They're really only good against slow ghouls. They even lose to Frenzy Ghouls, and they lose to Abominations, as well as Meat Wagons, as well as Necro Wagon. And Banshees, I think. So against slow ghouls, they're good. So if you're ever thinking of going for Huntresses against Undead, make sure it's going to end in a tier 1 tower push, or you will be outscaled.
Yeah. Oh, look at this top right base harass. A Skeleton and an Acolyte still going to town here against those Lumber Wisps. Didn't lose another one, though. Just exchange it for a Goldmine Wisp. Very nicely done. In the meantime, very cheeky, very cocky creeping by Neutron now in the face of the Undead. We've seen this in the past go wrong several times when players just overestimated their limits and decided to go super cocky. But this time, it worked out. He's even going for the next one right next to side space. This is crazy.
But the illusions help, and it also helps when you're feeling reckless because you just got smashed on the previous map. So Maybe he's like, whatever, I'm just going to do something really risky and greedy. And that has given him an effortless path to the Undead base, who is going Gargs in Tier 3, by the way.
Yep.
And he's going to get Force of Nature, level 2, with maybe Mercs. He will get his Tree of Life cancelled, though. Great job by SyDe. Expecting that. So this is shaping up to kind of be like an all-in. I could see Keeper going for a pressure play, and then maybe eventually getting his own Merc camp and getting like 4 Mercs, bunch of archers, and just trying to brute force. But this is not the case. He's turning around, didn't finish the last creep, didn't get any Mercs, so he's now kind of stuck between. Wait, what is this? Is this an all-in? He's getting improved bows, Tree of Life, getting faked again, and it is a big push, but his Keeper is low.
Keeper is low. He did find a Sobi mask, which is nice. Definitely one of the coolest items you could possibly hope for. But like you said, Grubby, he's relatively low in mana still and health as well. So let's see if he can fulfill his mission there. Nice wisp blocks, by the way, by Neutron. Beautiful. And reaches his target destination, which was the Moonwell. This Acolyte is still there, by the way. The entire time this little creeper has been hitting on those wisps.
In the meantime, more creeping by Neytpoh. I'm not sure where he's going. He's not expanding, does not have a Hunter's Hall. He's not all-inning. He's not healthy. And he just keeps creeping. And he's going to take another camp, I think. The Laboratory. So this is the special level 4.2 Keeper, 2.2 Alchemist style? I mean, I don't really know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, he has to expect, of course, the Gargoyles. And SyDe is really just grinding his opponent down with these run-by, fly-by attacks, and while Neutron once again takes control of the entire map. He takes control, gets gold, gets items, gets experience, all into his belly. But is it going to be enough, though, to take...
He wants Cyclone once, or Book of the Dead. He gets Ankh. That's the worst, I think. Another Tree of Life attempt at the 1 o'clock position. Gargs sniff it out, even though they don't have a nose. Actually, they have a big nose. I didn't see that before. Did you know that?
You know, I've probably seen a Gargoyle's face 100 times in my life, but I never paid attention to the nose.
The nose looks like it's actively breathing in oxygen. It's actually giant. The biggest thing about them. Didn't know. I thought they had like no nose.
And technically speaking, Gargs don't even have to breathe because they're undead. So what is the nose for?
Yeah. I don't know. If you don't need to breathe, can you still do it for fun, like as a hobby? Someone in chat is like me. I don't need it, but I just do it to fit in.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Twitch chatter. Hey, how many wisps are there left? 3.
That's true. You can see it here on the beautiful overlay by Pat, the worker number. It's 8 wisps right now. 5 in the gold mine and 3 in the woods.
Okay, I know what this is. I know where this is going. Neytpoh's going to keep making archers. He's going to get a possum third, a shop, and he's going to go all in. And he's going to lose, I think.
You think SyDe's going to take it?
I think so. These are very high hero levels, and he finally got that Wand of Cyclone.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm underestimating how good it is just to creep Moss. This is insane, actually. Keeper will eventually get level 5. No wisps to his name, no upgrades, no follow-up. But all he has is his heroes. Maybe that's good enough. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe
him quite like this.
Maybe the secret to this Gargoyle Harass is just to not care. You know, don't try to build an expansion at all costs. Just reduce the surface of which you're susceptible to. You know, of which you're targetable from.
Like not expanding, so you don't have 2 places to defend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is traditional wisdom against Bat Riders sometimes. But we have 0 Lumber Wisps. We do have the Shredder. That's a big deal.
That's actually insane, yeah.
If SyDe snipes the Shredder, that locks Neytpoh in the Stone Age, because the next Shredder is available in 2.5 minutes.
Is he gonna find him, though? Hey, he's looking for it. He's looking for it. He's probably counting wisps as well when he's using that style. Like how many wisps he sees, how many he's killed. And he now should know that either there's an absurd low number of wisps or just the Shredder. And he's focusing it down. He's actually shifting targets.
He missed the first Cyclone. He hit a ghoul. But this is a way to kill lots of ghouls, is to Cyclone the DK. You cannot TP out right now. But he got the Shredder.
He got the Shredder. That's all he wanted, really.
Scroll the Beast was used. 3 cyclones.
Worth.
TP. He killed maybe, 3, 4 ghouls? And a Garg?
Yeah.
And he forced the DK to TP, but he lost the Shredder, and he's gonna lose another Wisp.
Oh,
SyDe
boy.
is so annoying with this, isn't it great?
Oh.
Oh, nice dodge with that low Garg. He actually didn't lose a single one.
Yeah, he wasn't hit by the acid bomb either. So
Yeah,
excellent
dodged it.
micro. And I think Neutron, what is he? The question is, Grubby, we said this earlier. Normal players would have maybe built an AP or two. Should he have done it?
What are you trying to say?
Do you think an AP or two could have helped in this situation here? Especially to protect the Wisps, right? When they're built close to the Wisps.
The thing is, it never truly protects the Wisps because of the position always necessarily is over vision blocked territory, the trees. There is a way where you can make an orchard of trees by eating all the way around a set of trees and then putting an AP near it, which would create a safe zone of vision, like an orchard of 6 trees.
Yeah.
And you just hollow out everything around it, and then APs near it. Then Gargs have to expose themselves for more, get more hits in. But it takes a long time. And who's actually going to let you eat that many trees with an Ancient?
Yeah.
The Gargs will focus that tree as well. Usually it's a shop that does that, which is very vulnerable. So the Wisp harass continues. 40 lumber to SyDe's name. And a Shredder, as much as it could solve his issues, is a big target. And it costs 100 lumber.
Look at Neutron's lumber income, by the way. So low. 42.
Yeah.
It's the Chinese torture technique with the water drops. It's starting to work. Every Wisp is a water drop. And after a while, you can't take it anymore.
Garg did go down. Keeper got level 5. Dark Ranger to interrupt heal spray, presumably.
This time we see a third hero for SyDe, the Dark Ranger, being added for the first time. I think at some point you also have to wonder, wouldn't have a third hero made a little bit of a difference, or maybe a different second hero? Instead of Alchemist, you go for Panda. Imagine if the Pandaren had been level 3 or level 4, and he would just rampage against these gargoyles with mass AoE.
I think you're right, because we had a high level force of nature. Heal spray was not required. By the way, this Acolyte never died. This is the starting Acolyte, isn't it?
It might be.
Yeah, I think you're right. If you're gonna go this heavy on single base creeping, Panda might have been better. The thing is, though, I don't think he knew that he was never gonna have an expansion, for one. And for two, he does have his vulnerable archers to consider. And you know, a Nova heal spray is really easy to fix a Nova, but the Panda is just aggressive. Well, and when you go that many archers, Alchemist seems more important than when you go like Dryad Bear.
That is, of course, very true. So level 5 on the Keeper. Almost level 4 on the Alchemist. Almost
Potential creep jack.
Attempted creep jack. SyDe knows, of course, the more creep spots are taken, that means he can now predict more easily where his opponent is going to be at. Big item went over to Neutron. He got the juicy Undead Aura, the DK Aura.
Sick. Really sick to get Unholy Aura. That's such a lovely leveler for him to get that same movement speed bonus that the Death Knight enjoys. Yeah. Well, not quite the same. It's level 1 version, Unholy Aura level 2 now on the DK. But still, and that's healing. That will actually go a really long way towards offsetting any potential disease cloud.
Oh, yes. Basically diminishing the efficiency of those pesky disease clouds, which SyDe is probably working on already. He might have even have researched it. We didn't track it down. But since he doesn't have a meat wagon yet and no A-bombs, he might not even have had it.
Yeah, maybe not yet. He does have the golds and lumber. It's 100 gold, 225 lumber. SyDe also has an expansion with 2 acolytes. He's gonna basically produce armies same time as making 3 bonus acolytes. Doesn't want to go over 50 yet. Very economically oriented player is SyDe. Creeping what he can across the map. Neytpoh had his go in the first half.
Yeah.
Second half is mine.
And now, of course, you can really see how the mechanic has shifted. You know, in the beginning, Neutron, it was all his. He could creep wherever he felt like it, and it was SyDe dodging. And now it's turned around. Now it's Neutron defending his base, trying to dodge those gargoyles, trying to find them. And now it's SyDe basically utilizing these openings and taking the remaining creep camps. It's really cool to see.
2 turtles left on the map. Top left, bottom right. Top left is a little hazardous for our French Undead player. Whereas our Russian nightelf player here is just trying to get his Tree of Life, finally. 0-0 upgraded archers. 1 attack upgrade coming in. Tree of Eternity is here, which means marksmanship is already researched.
Yep. Definitely true. So the additional range, the additional damage is a much-needed boon in his army right now. DK moves away to grant more XP over to the Dark Ranger and the Lich. This time he's defending his Tree of Life. He's waiting until that building is completed.
Looks like SyDe lost 1 ghoul to creeps because he's actually worried about these acolytes.
Yep. Keeper Harass, very strong. Gets 1 acolyte for his efforts. He's trying to destroy the shop here, the Tomb of Relics. Maybe even get some...
because in this series, things never happen alone. Guards are harassing wisps, lore, and getting hunted by archers.
Yeah, it's basically insane. Like, because of the fact that none of these players necessarily play standard, with Neutron always going so heavy on the archers, with SyDe refusing to build a single fiend in this matchup, the game shapes out to be completely different, right? It's not just one big fight and then it's over. It's happening on so many different fronts, you know? Harassing with the guards, mass expanding everywhere. This is so cool.
True. Maybe more losses than required here for SyDe. Not to say that losses are genuinely required, but ghouls and acolytes died to Keeper of the Grove auto attacks. And while those are respectable, during this time, Coil was available. So a little bit, I don't want to say sloppy, but it could have been better. There was a lot going on. Coil Nova kills an archer. Ritual on the ghoul. Positive trade for SyDe. Now, big attack. Treants coming in. Archer Shredder coming in as well.
Yeah, everything is being pulled by Neutron here. There's an army of Treants in the front line protecting the Archer as hard as they can. But then, of course, the Shredder, adding additional deeps. Can it be enough, though? This is not necessarily a good position for the Archers because when they're retreated, they're fighting uphill. Missing Chance is now kicking in as well. But the heroes are looking strong for Neutron. The ghouls are hunting down these remaining Archers. AoE damage so good. Look at this Dark Ranger, by the way, summoning more Skellies, is now getting focused down. Does he have a coil left? No, the level 3 Dark Ranger bites the dust. And these summons are still there. This expansion is now at great peril, Grubby. But 2 destroyers. These are going to be so good right now.
Yeah, he actually coiled the Lich at the same time the Dark Ranger was getting focused. I don't think she was that hurt, the Lich. So he made his choice, his preference. Oh, that's big kills. The Shredder! He gets it.
Shredder gets hit.
Oh.
Neutron saved everything. In the meantime, top left, Gargoyles have been attacking the Tree of Life. It's not going to be enough damage, but it's still something Neutron has to pay attention to. Does he actually see it?
1-0 guards. Oh, he actually, yeah, I think he did see it. He's trying to get there. He just needs to do a little bit of healing. Keeper's 5.7, at which points he gets Tranquility. Ooh. And that also explains, of course, why there's a Dark Ranger here. Yeah.
The expansion is dead. SyDe ran over with his speedy Frenzy Ghouls and a couple of Destroyers in Tau. And he's going to get it now. In fact, Neutron is desperately trying to save it right now. Staff's over. But it's not going to be enough with the Ghouls now, is it?
Yeah, well, he's gonna get the tree for sure.
Yeah.
And Tranquility isn't here. Even if it is, he could just silence it. This looks great for SyDe. Wait, Hilma!
Oh, he didn't do it. He doesn't have a TP, it seems. So he thought if he commits to this little bit of remaining damage, he would lose it all. But I think he could have done it.
He just doesn't want to throw the game. He killed all the wisps.
Yeah.
And the only way that he loses this is by getting Entangle, focused, and killed. It shouldn't happen. But now it definitely won't happen. He can just get TP / heal scroll / mana pot and go again. He's the one with the running base. There's no mining now for Neytpoh. He saw how small the army was.
True.
He just doesn't want to screw up. Understandable? Maybe too safe, but understandable.
Very understandable. Keep in mind, guys, this is the match point. This is the decider match for either of the players. And you have to give massive kudos to SyDe for actually having this much awareness and having this much patience instead of just right-clicking to say, yeah, whatever, I'm just going to get it. He realizes that this game counts, and he doesn't want to throw it like Grubby says.
Ruined Bracers on Keeper, pretty sweet, by the way, for Neytpoh. Nice item. Alchemist has good items as well. What would he like to get here? Pendant of Energy, maybe. That might help.
Yeah,
I don't think he really wants Claws +9.
Yeah, I don't think he can finish the turtle if SyDe had continued to go straight for this position, but he took a little bit of a pit stop at the shop. Got a healing scroll, 2 healing scrolls, 1 on the Dark Ranger, 1 on the DK. That's nice.
Oh, those treants will actually defeat the turtle eventually because of Roar.
Yeah. So here we go. Destroyers are so crucial right now. Eat the trees, eat the roars, and then do your thing. However, there's no bear, so they can't go too deep because these archers are going to be very dangerous. Speaking of archers, though, they're falling one after the other. Neutron has to micro a little bit. The Nova hits huge into the unit block of Neutron. The Nightelf player loses unit after unit. He already has the weakened economy, so every loss hurts double. And I think SyDe might be on the path to glory, might be on the path to victory right here. The heroes are looking strong. The Gargoyles untouched as well, but Neutron is not defeated just yet. He still has the aura. He still has level 5 heroes, double level 5. Keeper actually so close to level 6 with just a smidgen of ghouls, maybe a couple of skellies or a gargoyle. He can have that huge, big tranquility AoE heal, which is so enormously important.
Level 6 has been reached. Tranquility. There is a silence ability for the Dark Ranger. She's close to have enough mana. Tranquility is self-interrupted. He tries to actually focus fire the Death Knight. This could be the final sequence of the game here. SyDe has the position he's dreaming for. Killing archer after archer, hitting with the silence as well. Going for the Alchemist. Invul on the wrong hero. Neytpoh loses his Alchemist and SyDe is in hot pursuit. 3-3, our first best of 7 went all the way, and it looks like SyDe is about to win here.
Oh, Neutron! He fought valiantly, but in the end, it wasn't enough. The Undead Scourge reigns supreme. Even without Fiends, even without playing standard style, SyDe showed us what a little bit of creativity and a refined strategy that goes with it can do. And he finally did it. For the first time he's on the Fight Night. For the first time he takes us all the way to a best of 7. 7 games out of 7. And he takes down Neutron. The man who had such ambitious plans. The man who wanted to forge another dynasty. But SyDe today stepped up and said, no, you're my friend, you're my teammate, but I'm going to take the title away from you.
Very well played here by both players. A phenomenal performance, but like you said, SyDe decided to take it here from Neytpoh. He is now the Fight Night champion and will be making his comeback 2 weeks from now. I don't think you and I both expected this. You expected it to go all the way, but you thought maybe Neytpoh. I thought it's going to be a 4-1 for SyDe. We're both wrong. And how happy we are about that. Great last game by SyDe. A very creative play. I mean, he's used Necromancers. He's used Gulgar timing attacks. He's done fast expansions, one base play. A lot of different styles. So did Neytpoh. We saw Keeper first, Warden first, Demon first. We've seen Archer, Bear, Chimera. A lot of creative diversity from both utilizing their race to the full effect.
So good.
Wonderful.
So strong. Such a wonderful performance. He surprised us at the Heroes Hearth Invitational against Hawk and showed us the Dreadlord. Played it against Cash as Orc. He played it against everything and everyone. And now today, he's further developed his style against Night Elf, it seems, with that DK, mass ghoul, mass gargoyle style, Mad Frog style, really just on a whole different level, I feel, with sick micro, great multitasking, and especially decision-making. You know, it's one thing to have a large number of gargoyles, but it's another thing to know where to strike and how to inflict the most damage.
True. One single moment of misattention and you will lose your Gargs to Acid Bomb, Archer Focus Fire. He's lost his archers, his Gargs in greater numbers than once in this series on Twisted Meadows. There was a lot going on and there was a TP into them. There was 5 Gargs left. For the most part, he showed great restraint with them, always surgically striking in the right spot. Leave the Shredder up for just 30 to 60 seconds too long, and it ends up creating a lumber bank that won't dissipate over the course of the game. Shredder is so powerful. You need to be very on point with your timings, your precision, where you're going to be. And SyDe was. That's what earned him the victory. And that's why he is our new Fight Night champion.
Very true. I was trying to get a hold of him so we could maybe have a winner's interview, but he's probably cheering, celebrating on stream. I'm not sure if he's there. Didn't react, but I can just try to call him, actually, because I would love to hear some words from him.
He answered.
Oh, he answered? Okay, nice.
Very short, as we're sure you're tired.
Yeah, we're just gonna reduce it to a couple of questions, but I think you guys would like to hear about his point of view and about this style. So we're just gonna add him to the call. Let's see. But what a performance, really.
Yeah. Great series, really fun. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the winner always stays on, and we find a new challenger. And here we are with SyDe.
Yep. Can you reactivate your video, Grubby? Thank you.
Yep.
Perfect. Good. So we're gonna do this.
SyDe, can you hear us? Oh, hey.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey.
Whew.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're ruining my plans. I already had everything prepared for the winners interview, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I had Neutron's picture saved.
All right.
Kendric.
That's fair.
You showed a lot of different styles in this series, SyDe, but you didn't show any Crypt Fiends.
Yeah. I don't like Crypt Fiends too much versus nightelf because I feel like my micro is not the best compared to other undeads in Europe, and so I tend to struggle if I go that way. So I rather play some rather multitasking / macro games.
And you really showed that. Wonderful multitasking, macro, expanding, surgical strikes. And probably one of the most difficult to do is the gargoyle style, where you try to choke them out of lumber. If they get a shredder for a little bit too long, they build up a bank that you cannot possibly threaten. How did you practice to become so good at finding that shredder at the right time every time without having too many losses?
Well, there's no specific training, but it's just try to keep in mind that if you kill a few wisps, is most likely. I mean, if you play gargoyles, they would definitely go for shredder sooner than later. So it's just about finding the right timing. But yeah, just playing later helps a lot for that.
And SyDe, so you showed us a great variety of strategies, really, against Neutron today. One of the one that led you to victory was with the Gargoyles, but another one was with Mass Skellies and Necros. Now, I remember Grubby saying this many times on his stream, that we never see Necros in pro play, and if we do, they're not going to do anything. So they're considered to be one of the worst units in the game. What led you to utilizing them in such a unique way and actually having great results with it?
Well, for the past, I would say weeks / months, I've been using a lot more and more necromancers against every race, actually, except undead, which because it's pretty tough because of destroyers. But yeah, I've been using them a lot because I find them really cool. I mean, skeletons are very nice. You can scout around. You can like use dark ritual, and they're pretty. They're not really tanky, and they give a lot of XP if you add them up. But you can overmass. I'm not sure what's the word for it, but overwhelm your opponent with lots of skeletons. You have Disease Cloud, you have meat wagons at the back, and it's also I really like them against Warden because Warden is gonna do Fan of Knives. But if there's like so many skeletons, she might not do so well against the necromancers.
Yeah, we saw that. That Fan of Knives never looked less impressive than against your swarm of Necros and Skellies. Super cool. SyDe, congratulations. Very well deserved. We're super ecstatic to see you come back 2 weeks from now to do another fight night. And I think I speak for both of us when I say we wish you very happy Necromancer dreams tonight.
Thank you. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, SyDe.
Have a good night.
You too. So yeah, guys, you heard it from the champion himself. Try to do it in your own games, perhaps. There's a couple of replays available by SyDe that you can check out. There's also a video from SyDe on the Heroes Hearth channel, !YouTube. You can get linked to that, and he actually comments over this Necro style against Night Elf. Very cool if you want to get some additional insight and get some help on how to execute it the best. But Grubby, man, I think I speak on behalf of everyone when we say this was one of the coolest fight nights yet. Epic matches, back-to-back, really back and forth. But I think we've all earned some rest, some much-needed rest. So, without further ado, some final shout-outs before we close the show.
Yeah, guys, thanks for watching this match with us, for enjoying the games and the beauty of Warcraft 3 together. you guys, the real heroes in the Twitch chat. Thanks for watching. Hope you had a lovely show to kickstart your weekend. And we're looking forward to seeing you at the next Fight Night in 2 weeks from now. Make sure to hit that follow button so you know when this channel is going to go live. One of the coolest Fight Nights ever. Glad you experienced it with us. Kendric, great job today. It was so much fun.
Likewise,
Have a
my
great
friend.
weekend. And see you next time.
See you guys.